Yo, 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 what is up? It is a fine Thursday night, and we are back here once again. Slow-mo backslap and the homie Gaming Forte for Damage Per Second podcast. I hope you guys are having a great evening. Let me hold on. Let me now I got the intro out. Let me talk more my speed, because I was told earlier today that I have a different tone to my speech when I'm hosting the podcast. Forte, do you believe that? You believe I talk differently during the podcast?
Whoa. I'm getting cold. Yes.
You do? Or you
No.
You do? Wow.
Yes.
Really?
It's right here. I'm not talking to you so much. I was getting yelled at. I will take them out. He said, I set the alarm on my clock for 20 minutes.
You could just mute your mic.
I got you.
Jeez.
Huh? Okay.
Oh, God.
So, hey, listen, I just got my wife.
You could just mute your mic, it would be great, You know what? Forget all that. Episode number 60. Erodimus says I talk more corporate. Oh man. Ramon, yeah, what's up? Let me shout out some people in the chat real quick.
Okay, let me answer your question first. You said do you talk more corporate?
Well, that's what people are saying, that I talk more corporate. I feel like I talk like me.
I'm sorry. My wife called because she's like, can you please take this out the oven for me in like 30 minutes? I was like, okay, that's fine. Now to your whole corporate thing.
Corporate thing?
Well,
I don't talk corporate.
Not all the time.
Why? So some of the time.
When you're on Scumcast, you don't. When you're on my channel, you kind of see. I put it like this: it's not that you sound corporate. It's sometimes that you are more focused. I'll probably say more focused. When you're hosting, you kind of are paying more attention to like the task at hand. So it kind of comes off that you're just more intent in everything that you're saying, versus when you're not hosting, you're kind of more laid back. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think when it's just like when you're not hosting, you could just sit back and not have to like be on task with like trying to keep the show on task and stuff. So I think that's where it is. It's just that you just seem more intent when you're the host.
Okay.
I never thought about it until they said. I thought I had to think about it. I was like, yeah, I can see that a little bit, but I don't think it's a bad thing, because I think you do an amazing job when you host.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do.
Tell Erodimus to suck. Never mind.
Yeah, we not doing that. We not going to tell Erodimus to suck anything. It's Xbox out here.
Tell him to suck on a battle rifle.
Hey, he might be doing that if he getting bodied in Halo Infinite or something. I don't know. I don't know what the Erodimus has been doing. But shout out to him. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's go through saying what's up to a few people. Mickey dies a lot. What's good, man? Xbox in the house. That's the homie. That guy Smitty, what is good, sir? Spider 13, Defloid, Franco Tech, Alpha Will. Ramon Terrell, it was said Ramon Terrell should be a mod, so I said, yo, let's make it happen. Ramon Terrell is a mod in the chat. And Damien, what's up, Damien? That's a fine name. Damien is a fine name. Strong name. I say that because I'm a Damien too. And Chips and Sticks, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Gamers Garrett, Lazy Orbits in the house as well. So, Forte, before we get into the topic, tell me what you've been up to, man. How you been?
Wait, you broke up a second. What did you say?
I said, tell me what you've been up to. How you been?
Man, today. Okay, so officially tomorrow starts Black Friday week for us. All our like not all of them. About 60% of our Black Friday sales start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was supposed to stay tonight and do it tonight, but I just called my assistant and asked her, could she come in the morning? So I'm going to go into work at like 7:30 in the morning tomorrow to set up for that, so I can have it all done. Because Pokemon comes out tomorrow. That's going to be a big day.
Boy.
Shout out to Nintendo about to sell
Yay.
another 30 million copies of a game.
Pokemon.
Yep.
Like
Hey, Pokemon, man. Shout out to Brilliant Diamond and what's the other one? Something Pearl. Remakes of the originals that they're about to repackage and sell to people, and they're gonna clamor for it like crazy. Do you know my store Slomo has well over 200 reserves on both those games altogether?
what?
It's ridiculous. I'm trying to tell you, man. It's Pokemon.
Why? I just, you know what? Let me not.
Pokemon, man.
Shout out to Ramon Terrell with the $10 Canadians that thought I'd share some of my small time film residuals with the homies. Love you guys and love the show. We love you too, Ramon. You know, you're my favorite Hallmark Channel actor. You are, man. You know. He stop. No, he's a CW actor though. That's.
I just like the fact that he, you know, has he ever been in a Tyler Perry film before?
No, but we don't want to wish that on.
No,
on
that's
Ramon.
what I'm trying to say. As long as listen, I'm gonna be for real here. You know, the boy Tyler Perry has done a lot for Black people when it comes to, you know, showing a spotlight on people. But some of those people that he having out there acting, I don't know, man.
So you saying Ramon needs to go do a Medea movie? Is that what you're saying?
No. He need no. I'm glad he hasn't done that. Because
Medea goes to prison.
No, man. No, you know, Medea shows a gun while she's sitting in the back of a car. What about Medea punching somebody through the front door?
Medea goes to the DMV.
After she left the TLC.
Right. But Medea at the hairdresser. You know, here we go.
Medea tries to go to a bank. What do you think happened?
Oh my gosh.
It's funny. No, but for real though. So yeah, Pokemon, that's something tomorrow. Battlefield, the official launch comes out tomorrow. For not regular normal people and people that are playing it on a 10-hour trial. So yeah, man, it's gonna be really cool. And then just prepping for that, man. Outside of that, I finally got my PC updated, so I'm on my new PC now. It feels like a new, you know, normally when you're just doing an upgrade, it's like, oh, you're just playing on the same PC. But when you change out the CPU and a motherboard, it's technically a brand new PC again.
That's what I've always been saying. I said, like, if I finally decide that my Z390E motherboard, which is a fine motherboard, but it's PCIe 3.0, which means it's outdated, but it's still doing what it do. You know, my games still run fast, my PC runs fast. I'm good, right? I'm good for now in 2021. But let's say it's 2023 and I'm like, yo, everything that comes out that I want to upgrade to, you throttling it, motherboard. So I'm gonna have to go replace you. That's when it's not my CPU because I've overclocked my CPU already. It's like I'm trying to get.
You still on the 99? No, what are you on now?
i7 9700K.
9700K.
Yeah.
Shout out to the 8700K and the 9700K for still
hanging in there, man.
Still, it was funny because I was like, when I was looking at CPUs and stuff, I watched Steve over at Gamer Nexus, and the one thing he was talking about when it came to upgrading, especially when it was going to the new CPUs, he was like, if you got a 10th gen, you don't really need to, but if you're like he said, if you're on something older, like a 7th or 8th gen, he said, with the exception of the 8700K and the 9700K, because those are goddamn gods of graphics cards, of CPUs. I was like, yo, I love my 8700K. But those 6 cores was getting on my nerves.
Yeah, 6 cores ain't enough no more. I got 8 cores. I got 8 cores and 8 threads, and it's when it comes to multitask, it's fine for a single game. If you are just gaming on your PC, you're not doing content creation. Yeah, you don't need nothing else. You're good.
Yeah.
If you're doing a lot of extra stuff, you need to kind of hold back on doing certain tasks all at once, so it does kind of make the content creation take a little bit longer. But look, I'm not going to upgrade anytime soon. That's
but outside of that, everything's been good, man. Just hanging with the family, and then just playing Halo, which we're going to talk about later, and Battlefield earlier in the week, and you probably will be proud of me, Slow-Mo. I haven't booted up Destiny in almost a week now. It's been a week.
Let me give you a hand clap, sir. That's
It's
what
been
I like.
a week.
That's what I like to hear. That is what I like to hear. All right.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But what about you?
I've been good, man. I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite. Look, I had heard about the stealth launch of the beta, even though it's not really a beta, because they said this is exactly look, they couldn't go. This is some fine, PR speak, right? Because they couldn't go back on their word because they said they weren't going to release the multiplayer without the campaign, but the multiplayer is ready. Or ready-ish. We're gonna talk about that later. And like they was like, man, we can't wait. We can't wait no more. Let's go. So they went, and they said, but we can't call it the multiplayer because people are gonna call us out for saying that we wouldn't do this. So they call it a beta instead. An open beta that won't end until the game relaunches.
An open beta that transfers all your progression over to the final game.
This is not a beta. This is the game. Like, keep it a buck. I'm not mad though.
Shout out to your season rank 5. How long it take you to get there? 1,100 years.
Oh yeah. I'm at 6 now though. Like it's moving a little bit long further. We'll get into
we'll
that.
talk about that because we got to talk about the update that they tweeted about earlier today.
Mm-hmm. But first let's discuss something that's a bit it's not necessarily
heartbreaking. It's just stupid.
I hate to have to talk about it, but it's necessary because I'm really kind of tired of seeing and hearing about stuff like this in the video game industry. And I think the more we talk about it, the more likely we are to root these kind of cancerous people out of the industry. And it's just only going to make everything better. And if you've been living under a rock lately, you probably don't know about the allegations against Activision CEO Bobby Kotick. Now, it's unfortunate, and I'm not going to get into all the details of what has transpired. Some of it is pretty disgusting, and I'm not. We're not going to talk about it in detail, but we will talk about some of the most egregious things that he has. We have to say allegedly did because, like, legally, like he hasn't been like proven in the court of law to have done it and charged for it, but allegedly, even though Activision came out and admitted it, Bobby Kotick back in, I think this was like 2006. It was about 16 years ago. So this was about 2005, I guess. Threatened to have his assistant killed. He has had a stewardess on one of his private jets fired because she dared to complain about his harassment, and he also covered up other abuses. And those are the ones that we're not going to get into detail about because, I'm just not really trying to get pissed off right now. But covered up other abuses from his high-ranking developers that against women and kept that stuff from the board. So all of this came out, and there has been walkouts at Activision. A lot of employees want him to resign. The board, as well as Bobby Kotick, have fallen in line and they're defending him. Some of the investors, a very small minority group of the investors, are also calling for him to resign. But I think what's really important is that this is now grown to the point where we're now getting CEOs of his partners that are speaking out about this. So yesterday, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan, and I'm gonna read Jason Schreier's tweet real quick. I'm not gonna switch to the screen because I got other stuff set up, but Jason Schreier tweeted out that PlayStation boss Jim Ryan slammed Activision Blizzard this morning, writing in an email to staff that he was disheartened and frankly stunned by this week's news. We do not believe their statements of response properly address the situation. And that honestly has been the case with Activision ever since the court case in California had come out, and where they were being charged with what was it? it's not civil rights issue. It was a labor issue.
It was a labor issue, yeah.
That I feel, and this is just me personally, feel like they paid their way out of that, because the actual, like, what they end up having to pay for them was like pocket change. It's something you get out of your couch. It was nothing. It hurt them not at all legally or financially. So like these kind of issues, like they don't go away unless the company gets hit financially. And now this goes to the next part, where today Xbox boss Phil Spencer has joined the chorus of industry professionals criticizing Activision Blizzard, telling staff in an email obtained by Bloomberg that Xbox is, quote, evaluating all aspects of our relationship with the embattled publisher. See, now you're dealing with money. Now that board can you can't ignore this now. Before it was just people talking. And now before it was just developers getting uppity and saying they're gonna walk out. When the supply and demand is so lopsided in your own favor, they could all be replaced tomorrow. Because there's always other developers trying to get into the industry and have the job that they have. So, like, when it was just that, and it was just, well, we'll just kind of weather the storm, and people will forget about this. There'll be other controversies that'll pop up, and they'll forget all about Bobby. Nah, it don't work that way when now your partners, the people that you rely on to have your game sold because they provide the platform that your game sells on, are now like, what you're doing, it ain't good enough. So now before I say how I feel this is going to turn out, let me pose the question to you, Forte. What do you think? One, what do you think about Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer speaking out about this? And two, where do you see this going?
No one wants to ever say that you have a moral responsibility to stand up for something, because like you said, it's not really their place to say anything really about it, because that's an Activision matter. But with them being a partner of them, meaning that they have, especially Sony, because they have a lot of different partnerships, especially with the Call of Duty franchise, that Jim Ryan and Bobby Kotick sat in the same room together probably, or at least somebody that's on his staff sat on the room with Jim Ryan to go over some of the details, and their sales and marketing teams worked hand in hand together on a lot of this stuff. That's why when Jim Ryan came out and said it the other day, I was like, okay, this is kind of the stepping stone to something like change really happening. Because if it takes somebody that high up to actually call you out on the stuff that's going on, and didn't really say anything about Bobby, he just talked about just the overall satisfactory of the response that they said, and leave it to interpretation on how people want to take that. But pretty much he just called them out and said, yo, your relationship with us may be in strays if you don't do something about this going forward, because is Call of Duty going to be as successful without PlayStation, without Xbox? No, because that's where it sells the majority of their games at. So you don't want to mess with your partners when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
And now Phil Spencer coming in and saying something about it. Now that kind of just literally cemented the whole conversation, because at some point you could say, well, PlayStation is just one side of it, but now it seems like the whole gaming community, especially the side that you converse with the most, which is the console side of it, they're both against you now. So I think that when he came out and said something, that's when you really see change probably about to happen. I don't see how Activision doesn't make a move on Bobby Kotick at this point on, something like that. But we could talk about it more, but I think it's just more than Bobby Kotick. I think there should be an up and down look at that whole executive branch of what's going on, because there's no way that Bobby was the only one that knew about all this stuff that was going on. Yes, he's been there the longest. He's been there 30 years, but there's some other skeletons running around that executive branch that, I think is going to get unnerved from all this whole thing. So I don't even think this is the end. I think this is I think the big domino fell first, and you're going to see a lot of other stuff come out from the fallout from this.
Let me just also say that acknowledge the fact that Bobby Kotick fired people due to the California investigation.
The investigation, yeah.
That have been accused of less of what he's currently being accused of. Just let that sink in, that he threw people under the bus, even though he knew what they were doing, even though that he basically, he's been the CEO since the 90s.
Since 1990, 30 years.
So the culture of Activision, he has to own all of that. There's no way that he can say that he didn't know this, or he didn't agree with the way that people were treated. You've been the CEO here for forever. Who else is responsible? So no, like I don't that none of his excuses or his statements hold any weight with me, nor do they hold any weight with the majority of people in the gaming community as well as the gaming industry. And I think when it comes to what happens with this, I don't think that PlayStation or Xbox are pulling Activision games off of their storefronts or anything like that. But like that Call of Duty marketing deal is up pretty soon. Now, I think that people like the board may start thinking, like, if Bobby is still around and people are, and like our name is toxic, that like that might affect how much money we're getting once like Xbox or PlayStation is bidding to get our marketing deal. Because what is your marketing deal worth if like the platform that's doing the marketing is picking up a lot of bad press for just being associated with you?
Especially with Call of Duty being in a down year. And that's not saying that the down year is because of everything going on with the acquisitions and stuff with Bobby Kotick. But it's like a perfect storm right now. It's like Call of Duty is kind of a down year because a lot of people are just tired of the formula, especially the World War I and World War II formula. And they went back to that. Single player seems to be really good. Multiplayer is just like hit or miss for a lot of people. So I don't think that is the problem. But it doesn't help that the game's not doing as well as it normally does. And when we're talking about well for Call of Duty, we're talking about 25, 30 million sold across, multiple platforms and stuff. And it'd be hard pressed probably to even hit 20 this year, which is a grave drop in sales for them.
I think they said in the UK it's the lowest sales. And I think this may just be
of any Call of Duty for the last 15 years.
Yeah, 14, 15 years. I think that was just physical sales though. So like, I mean, I always say physical sales alone don't tell the full story, but that's not a good look. I don't think that. I'm not thinking that Call of Duty is not going to be number one on NPD, and when we get the list in December, but we never see what the actual numbers are for NPD. We just know what sold more than whatever, and it could be a huge difference in what the number was for Call of Duty last year compared to what is going to be this year, and. Yeah, I do think that I know there's some people in the chat that kind of feel like the entire board needs to go, and I agree because they're clearly value money more than people. Yeah, but easily. But I think that's the reality is that they're gonna make Bobby fall on his sword. He's gonna get a golden parachute to leave. Of course, he's gonna get a multi-million-dollar payout, probably billions, to leave. Which sucks, but it's the reality of how these things are, and it's crazy. I almost kind of feel like a year from now, Mike Ybarra might be running this entire thing, and it's crazy because Mike Ybarra hasn't done anything. He's basically
he just went he just got into the right situation.
Yeah, he's basically the right guy at the right time who wasn't around before this company got called out for its foolishness, and he's not tied to, his hands are clean, so the board can put him in place, and he could be running this, because he fell upwards into running Blizzard.
Yeah, he's running Blizzard.
He didn't do anything to really run Blizzard except for just not be one of the dickheads that was going around harassing women and mistreating minorities in Blizzard years ago. And
listen, so I would love for Mikey Barber to do that, because the one thing I know about Mikey Barber is the man's a gamer. The man played games all the time. We watched him play games. He streamed himself playing games. He may not be, some people may not think he might be the best fit for the games that they're making, but they need to get back to the bases. They, first of all, who I can tell you, it's hard pressed for me to believe that anybody on that staff for Blizzard probably even know what a video game is outside of the dollars and cents that it brings in.
Yeah, it's those are the kind of like analytic people that like, well, our analytics say or our statistics say that people tend to like XYZ instead of just allowing devs to make games, because that's essentially what they turned Blizzard into. Like Blizzard used to be the kind of studio that they would cancel a game if it didn't fit their level of quality. If the game wasn't ready, like it doesn't matter how many times it's been delayed. It's not going to be launched until it's good to go, and it fits the Blizzard seal of quality. And look, I'm just only talking about their games. I'm not talking about internally, because clearly internally they were trash. You know, with all the stuff that's come out, but ever since then, like there's been a mass exodus of people leaving Blizzard because Activision came in, and now instead of having people in the creative room that are actually good at designing games and developing games, you got COOs in the room and financial people in the room asking how much is X going to cost to get done, and when can this game be ready, and cutting off creative freedom so that the game comes out in what they would consider to be a reasonable amount of time. And that's I hopefully when all this all said and done, one, women are not being sexually harassed or sexually assaulted anymore. Two, women are actually getting paid a fair wage compared to their counterparts that do the same job. And three, they can get back to making games that are creative and not just the same, you know, rehashed money grabs that they've been doing. You got anything else you want to say about that, man?
No, man, I like what Arodimus just said in the chat. He says he thinks it's going to be a firestorm, a fire sale on the company to be able to save it, which could definitely happen. I don't think we're far away from that happening, probably a couple years if that actually was the case. But I just think in general, I've always been kind of like miffed on, once one person says something, everybody starts saying something, and I understand why, because it's like you feel like they can't come after all of you at the same time. So once one person drops the ball and starts, you know, spilling everything that's going on, then everybody feels like they can say their piece and they feel like they have a voice. But the one thing I want people to know is you always have a voice. Just because you're going through something doesn't mean you need to continue to keep going through it. And the fact that this man, who knows however long this has been going on, I mean, we only know back to like 14 years ago, but the man has been with the company for 30. And the fact that 30 years later, we finally are getting resolution to some of the stuff that's been happening, it's just downright despicable. And I think that's part of the reason why, you know, like Arodimus was saying, like the board needs to go. The fact that Bobby can fire people at a moment's notice just for things that he doesn't like that they're doing or things that are happening, but he has to be voted on to be kicked out by the board of directors because he's the CEO of the company. You know, I mean, listen, you work hard to get into those type of positions to become a CEO and stuff like that. But then when you have people like, you know, allegedly, because we don't know 100% because we haven't had any court cases or findings or anything.
We do know that when people settle out of court, it's more than likely
something happened,
right? Or when it came to him threatening to have his assistant killed, and then Activision's PR department comes out and says, well, you know, what he said was in poor taste, and look, okay, that's an admission.
And poor taste that
yeah, that's an admission that it happened and he said it. So you know,
that's it for me. I just think that it's about time, and Activision has kind of been the bane of the existence. Especially, I mean, I love Blizzard, and Activision was completely the downfall of Blizzard ever since Activision became, you know, the parent company overall when everything happened and stuff. So it's unfortunate. I wish well to all the developers. I wish well to all the victims and stuff when it comes to all this. Resolution is going to come. It's going to take time for that resolution to come. But Xbox and PlayStation bosses coming out and putting their foot down and saying, especially with them saying that the response that you gave is not quite good enough, lets me know that somebody needs to be rolling on the ground and not with the company no more. And that is the CEO right now.
It seems to me when you say this response isn't good enough, that it is a very passive aggressive or PR way of saying, you know what you need to do.
You get your stuff together.
Get
your house together.
Yeah. The response isn't that they're saying isn't good enough. Isn't your PR statement, which also wasn't good enough. It is the fact that there are no actions being taken, and you're just giving empty words. We're past empty words when the CEO is just as bad or worse than the people that have already been fired or quit. And to add to that, I just remembered the head of Treyarch quit as well because he's a part of the allegations, the newest allegations that came out. And when questioned, he just resigned. So.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm telling you, more is gonna come from this. You don't listen, you don't sit at the top of the food chain at Activision with somebody that's been there for 30, like Slomo, that's like me saying, like, great, I know you never did any of this stuff, but that's like, oh, I know you for 4 or 5 years now. Ever since we've been in this community, I've known you. That's why we're friends. But that's like someone telling me, or coming to me saying like, oh, Slomo this, Slomo that, and I've been your friend for the longest. I don't know none of this stuff about you. It's like, I don't know. I never saw that happen. I never saw any of this stuff. It's like when you're around somebody for so much, it's kind of hard for you to not pick up on things that
pick up the little things, right? Little things that people say. Eventually, people relax. They show you the real them. We've seen it in every single, like everyone who's in the workplace have seen people do that.
Well, think about the whole. You watch football. You know the whole John Gruden thing about the hidden emails and stuff. He's talking like all that stuff was said in private about players and everything like that. And it was all to a particular GM that he thought he was buddy and cool with. And come to find out, there's hundreds of thousands of those emails out there. Now the NFL is never going to release those emails.
Of course not.
They finally got their pound of flesh to put the stake on somebody like John Gruden. But if that can happen in something as big as the NFL, the National Football League, that's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, you don't think that can happen at somewhere like Activision, where there's one person that's at the very tippy top of the parade and everybody else has to follow his lead or get in line? You don't think that happens there too? And the other thing is, you don't think that people didn't know about it, but they just turned a blind eye because guess what? Their Call of Duty was so good to them that they just turned a blind eye to everything that was going on. Why all this cesspool stuff was going on in the bottom, during this whole time that they've been going on. It's despicable, but guess what? It's gonna change now because everybody knows and the gig is up.
Right. Absolutely. But I think we killed this topic. Let's move on to something that we both have been really enjoying.
Something that's beautiful.
Yeah, so something a little bit on a lighter note, and that is Halo Infinite beta. I guess we'll call it beta. They want to call it the beta. Fine, it's a beta. But man, so we got a stealth since the last show, and I actually kind of heard about this right after the show, that this was going to happen. I didn't quite believe it until I spoke with some people who I know have sources. They're sources. They I'm not saying they are the plug or the source, but like they like when they hear it, it's happening. And so I found out on Friday that this was going down. I kind of kept it to myself. You did as well, Forte, but like. It's pretty cool. Stealth launch, for the 20th anniversary of the Xbox, and Halo Combat Evolved as well. we got the Halo Infinite multiplayer beta launched on Monday, and outside of playing a little bit of Forza Horizon 5, I've basically been playing Halo Infinite the entire time. Like, I was playing Disco Elysium before, not anymore. I was supposed to be going through my second playthrough of Guardians of the Galaxy, not anymore. I was supposed to be trying to finish up that Hades epilogue, not anymore. I've been playing Halo Infinite multiplayer, and man, it's a lot of fun.
Is that a chibi on your gun?
I don't know. It's like a little keychain or something. I don't know.
Did you buy that?
No. Wait.
That's what that is. That's a chibi. Did you buy that pack that they had in the store?
The premium pass? Yes, I bought the premium pass. Yes, I did.
I bought it. I bought it too.
I've spent about $20 so far, and I would have spent even more to get that pass, to get the extra levels, because that's something we could talk about in a little bit. But first, before we get into our issues with it, how have you enjoying the beta so far?
So I haven't got a chance to play today, of course, because we're doing Scumcast. Scumcast, DPS. Scumcast is in 2 days.
Right.
Haven't got a chance to play today because I was at work, and then yesterday I was putting my PC together, so I hunkered down. But I played all the way up to that day, like the last 2-3 days of it, and bro, it's so much better than the flight. Like the flights were good, but this is great. That's why when they say it's a beta, I'm like, this ain't no beta, man. This is
it's a beta that has the entire multiplayer, everything that they have in the multiplayer, and there's going to be nothing extra added when the game launches. Yeah, it's not beta, man. You just launched the multiplayer early, but you couldn't say that because you promised everyone you weren't going to do that.
Split the game. You wouldn't split the game. Which listen, I am not against.
Not at all. I'm good.
I'm not against it.
I'm good.
I do want to, throw shade at some people that would sit up here and say that they shouldn't split it and everything. If you ever notice, I never really spoke on them splitting the multiplayer and single player, because as much as I didn't want them to do it, I know if I would have said that, it would have been something that was archived on Twitter, and I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. But I swear, there's a lot of people that
unless you got receipts, I ain't say
it. No, exactly. I ain't say it unless you got receipts. But guess what? There's receipts out there. I have a couple of them. But people that was like, oh man, it would ruin the game. Halo has always been a experience that you can play all together at one time when it comes to the multiplayer, single player, and co-op.
I'm one of them. I was like, nah, man. It's always been like this. You always release them together. And you know what? I'm a hypocrite, because as soon as I heard, I knew for a fact on Friday that this was happening on Monday, I was like,
was getting in a mug.
I'm playing this.
And guess what? It's nothing wrong with that, because you wanted to play a game. I just always found it weird where people were like, no, man, they should just keep, not calling you weird, but I always felt like that attitude of them saying, if we're going to give you something early, to say, no, I want the full experience. I want the full game. No, I want to play whatever the heck you can give me, because I'm tired of waiting. First of all, Halo was supposed to come out a year ago, and we already waited almost a full year for that. So I'm just happy that they did it. I'm just making fun of some of the people that were out there saying that they were championing not separating the game, but as soon as they separated the game, they all went on Twitter and started hooting and hollering and screaming because I'm playing Halo, taking screenshots and everything. It was great. So it's a great experience. I think 343 did something I didn't think they were going to do, because they haven't shown the capacity of doing anything I thought they can do, which is make something better than what they had before. So the multiplayer, the single player is still out there. We don't know because we haven't played it. We'll get a chance to play that in a couple of weeks.
The best multiplayer they've ever made.
But the multiplayer, they literally upped.
I have not had this much fun. I have not had this much fun in Halo in so long. I think Halo Reach was the last time I had this much fun.
So are you willing to say that, all that slanderous talk you were saying about Splitgate and Halo, are you willing to say that Splitgate definitely ain't this?
This is better than Splitgate. This is better. Like, look, I've uninstalled Splitgate.
I know you told me a while ago that you uninstalled it.
Until they come with more content, I can't play it anymore. And the player base fell off a cliff, and I'm playing against bots again, and it's not fun. Getting like destroying bots is not fun. It's not. There's nothing. There's no challenge there. It was fun when people. It was fresh to people, and there was a lot of people playing the game, and you really got a challenge and actually playing against real people. But
let me tell you though. But the thing for me, this is a thing that probably was the most exciting, because I haven't got a chance to play Halo. I played Halo with you a little bit the other day, but you had to go because you had to go get your kid and stuff, and then I had to go. So that was like the last time that I actually played the game. But let me tell you, playing, shout out to my fire team, Taz and Luca. We Destiny fire team, we Halo fire team. Like me and Taz being like huge like Halo veterans. We love the game. Just getting back into the swing of playing it. We were playing some of the new game modes. We were playing like the capture and defend. We were playing. Dude, I never knew how much I missed playing capture the flag. Like legit capture the flag. Because we were playing in quick play. Like we played single team capture the flag, where the flag rotates and it rotates from defense to offense. We played that. Then we played classic capture the flag, where you got two flags and you got to score. And let me tell you, bro, having a breadth of content when it comes to just different types of gameplay and styles is so refreshing, man. And playing with people that I haven't played Halo for fun, and I don't know how long. And that's what this beta is giving us. So look, man, I can't wait to get back in there and play more. But it's great. It's really great. The progression system sucks, but it's great.
Yeah, a couple things, comments in the chat. Anonymous says slow mo addicted to the Halo crack. Yeah. I might need to go. I might need to go to rehab, soon. But it is what it is, right? That guy somebody wants to know what my aim sensitivity is, and honestly, bro, I have been changing it almost daily, so I don't know what I've settled with. I kind of feel comfortable now. I was comfortable in the flights, but then the flights were different than the actual game. So like all that stuff got defaulted, and I didn't remember what I had the flight set to. So I've been kind of just trying to find my comfort zone, and I think I'm there because I don't like to brag or anything. I've been doing pretty good. So I kind of feel like I'm not trying to change it anymore. But I did change it earlier today, so I have no idea what I changed it to, honestly. I kind of feel like maybe 5.5 on the
look sensitivity.
Yeah, I think I'm at 5.5. I think I had it at 6, and I think I dropped it back to 5.5. But
I'm at 7. I'm at 7.5 for up, look, and horizontal.
Yeah, I Smitty, I'll be live tomorrow playing.
My look acceleration is a 4.
I don't even think I touched that, honestly. I did play around with the dead zones a whole lot. And so I think where my dead zones are now, it's either 10 or a 9 across the board now.
Do you know what your look acceleration is?
Whatever the default was is what I kept it at.
It's 2. I know, I'm just saying, you know what it does though, right?
No. I have no idea.
It basically just accelerates your like whenever you look with your, I think it's with your your right thumbstick, it basically moves faster. Like it has a little bit more sensitivity into it when you first hit the button versus compared to like if you like the reason like look at vertical sensitivity is always the same speed no matter which way you go. Like if you turn it up, it goes left the same way, it goes up, down, right, left the same way. The acceleration for the looks acceleration, so many different words in here. The look acceleration basically ramps up like the it's like the acceleration of a car. Like it gets to the same miles per hour at the same time, but how fast it gets there, how quick it gets there is a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, I ain't touching nothing right now until I kind of feel like I'm not like what my mind is telling me to do, and my fingers aren't making it happen.
Oh, speaking of your fingers, did you change any of your button configurations?
Yes, I did, because I have
I did too.
Hold on. This was the issue I had with Splitgate, right? So like Splitgate, like Halo Infinite, has your melee as pressing in the right thumbstick, right?
Yep.
Splitgate did not allow you to change that, which was like really kind of my one gripe with the gameplay, because I have this habit of like
pushing in on the button,
pushing it in when I don't mean to, and so I took that off of pressing in right thumbstick and put it on press down on a directional pad, because I don't give a crap about AI scan. So like I changed it to that, and then because I got an Elite controller, I made my bumpers to press down on directional pad. So now my bumper is my melee. And so I melee
right bumper
easily.
Or left bumper?
Right bumper, of course.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about, Slumber. Me and you thought the same exact way. I literally changed it because that's what Destiny's is. Right bumper is melee, and I changed my because it's left on the D-pad is how you switch your equipment. So switch my equipment to left on the D-pad instead of right bumper. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm just switching these. And because let me tell you, I would be shooting somebody and maybe it's just a panic in you trying to get that shot off, but you would accidentally melee. And it lets me know how bad some of these people are as first-person shooters. Because if I melee in the middle of a gunfight
and I still kill you,
and I still have enough time to kill you, that means, dude, that melee takes probably 700 milliseconds or 70 milliseconds to do that melee animation between button press and finishing it. Meaning almost a second went by and you still ain't killed me. So I fixed that situation by changing the shout out to Halo for having the best customization
that was the first
controller.
That was the first thing I did. I was like, nah, fam. The first time I did that by mistake, I was like, never again. We gonna switch this out, and I made that decision in the flight. And once I first got, like, 'cause this is like my first Elite controller, right? So like I made that decision in the flight that I was like, I gotta fix this, because I'm shooting at someone, I'm about to kill them, I melee out of nowhere, and they finish me, and I'm just like, you rat, but you got so lucky. So I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that no more. So like I love where it's at right now. That's the only thing I've changed. Everything else is fine. Now, but I do want to get into some complaints.
Well, no, tell me okay. Well, yeah, because your complaints have probably got a lot to do with. Have you played it on your Series S?
I have not.
Or you just been exclusively PC? Because I know a lot of your gripes is on PC.
Okay, so here's the only thing I've done on the Series S is buy things. Because on Steam right now, you try to buy something in the shop and it doesn't work.
Well, the shop's not working right now.
Yeah, so it's not working right now, period. Because I was about to buy the levels, but I couldn't because the shop wasn't working.
Wait, we gonna talk about this.
Hold on. Look. Wait. No. Let me finish what I'm saying. Then you can talk. You can talk about me buying too much stuff. Okay. Look. So the only thing I've done on the Series S is log in, because I know it's tied directly to the Microsoft Store. Whereas there's some disconnect between the Steam Store and the Microsoft Store, and so I've just logged in on Series S to buy the premium battle pass and the skin that I got now that looks real cool. That's the only times I've really logged in. And to kind of just check a few things, because I was trying to have footage for the show, go into my theater, because I had this great match, man. I had this match where I had an overkill medal for like sniping 4 people in like 15 seconds. It was disgusting. And I was like, I tried to clip it, but the shout out to Xbox game bar being a piece of trash. Didn't clip it right. It didn't clip it at all. And then I tried to go into theater mode. One of my complaints is that theater mode doesn't work very well. Especially if, like in the case of that situation, I got brought in mid-match. So the team I was on was already losing. and they was getting slaughtered. I came in. I guess somebody quit, and so because I came in mid-match, the theater mode didn't have a POV for me. It didn't have a point of view for me. So I couldn't go in and clip what all the stuff I was doing in that match. It really kind of pissed me off. But that's a minor thing. Major issue is the battle progression.
Oh.
People playing for hours upon hours just to get to level 2. And it's just like, what is happening? Why? Like, it's disheartening when you get a match where you have like 25 kills and you get all these medals everywhere. You had like a couple of kill streaks. You got a triple kill going and everything. And you said, man, I got all these medals. And then you got nothing. Like, no progression towards the battle pass. Like, that's not. And look, I know some people are like, and I've been saying it too. Me and Mooch have had a conversation on Twitter about it, and I've been like, they're working on it. I'm glad they're working on it. But that's it. I do have to agree with like some people who have been saying, but this was known in the flight. This was brought up in the flight. We talked about this in the flight because we saw the battle pass wasn't moving in the flight. They said, oh, it's because it was some of the challenges were bugged and you weren't getting credit, and then the battle pass wasn't refreshing as often as it should when you do all your challenges. Don't worry, it's gonna feel good. Well, here we are. It don't feel good. So I do, and I will continue to give them a little credit for being as responsive as they are, because there are some games, some multiplayer games where the community has an issue and it's never addressed, or when it's finally addressed, it's like weeks and months later and people have already checked out. And within a day, they were like, okay, we're going to work on something. Now, the problem is that the way they got it set up is pretty extensive, and they're probably going to have to do some real like structural changes to the way the battle pass works in order to fix this issue and make it something that's more keen to what people expect from a free-to-play game like Apex Legends and Fortnite when it comes to their battle pass, that you get some credit for at least playing the game, and you should get even more credit towards your battle pass for winning. Like, so incentivize winning. If you win more, you progress that battle pass more to get the stuff that you like out of the battle pass. So I think that their quick fix for now is okay. Basically, right. There is a never-ending challenge where you just get 50 experience just for playing any match, and that's like their quick fix for it now. And it's all right. I mean, you always get at least 50 if you didn't complete any challenges. Some of the challenges are hard to do because it'll be like a challenge would be like complete a Slayer match, but you can't choose Slayer. So you're just waiting for Slayer to pop up eventually. Hopefully, at some point Slayer's finally going to pop up, because I've been doing oddball, capture the flag, and stronghold over and over and over again for 2 hours. Hopefully Slayer shows up finally, right? It's like when you have it set that way, having those kind of challenges can be frustrating. I've been talking a whole lot. Dude, what do you think about the battle pass?
So at first I was like, this ain't that bad. What people talking about? But then after, I was having so much fun. And then after you have so much fun, you're like, okay, I go and buy the premium battle pass. I'm like, yeah, I use $25 of Xbox's currency. If you don't do it, make sure you use your game pass points to do it, because they're basically giving you money for free. So right. I use that. I buy $50 worth of their currency. I'm like, I'm just super excited about to spend $50 on Halo. So I bought that. Then I bought the premium battle pass, and I'm looking at those stuff like, cool, I can get this at level 4, this at level 5, and I'm playing. And like
you ain't going nowhere.
And then 4 games go by, and I'm like, man, I'm only halfway through one.
and guess how many levels it is? It's like 85 or something.
Yeah. So I'm looking at.
They
like, yo,
really
I'm only-
intended on you to be grinding that until May when the season ends.
Listen, bro, I was sitting there like, and then I was talking to Luca, and then shout out to Ash and Luca. She put up the tweet asking people like, how was their experience in Halo so far? Like it, love it, any like complaints? And everybody started flooding her with the battle pass. And I was like, I called Luke. I said, Luca, shout out to you for finding a really good subject to talk about on Scumcast, because we definitely gonna talk about this battle pass because everybody pissed off. So I called. She said, well, how do you feel about it? I was like, Luca, it's stupid because it's like, especially coming from a game like Halo, and not Halo, like Destiny or even Battlefield, you get mass. They give you 10,000 XP just for finishing one match in one day.
Mm-hmm.
You get that. Call of Duty gives you passive,
XP my bad. Everything. First off, shout out to Bam and the homie Elder Cat in the chat. Bam says they got 100 levels. I did not know.
It's 100 level.
I thought it was 80 something because I saw I saw an armor I liked was like I looked at what I need to do to get that armor and it said I had to be level 80 something.
You get that little flaming
thing where you kill someone and they burst into flames or something like that.
Or when you slide, you got flames and stuff around. You get that at 100. Yeah, there's 100 levels. So I'm looking at.
Here's the thing: is that unlike other games like Apex Legends, the seasons don't end, so you can.
That's probably what they were thinking about. You could continue.
That's persistent with Halo Guardians as well as the Master Chief Collection, where the seasons like they introduce new seasons, but you can still work towards something that you want from a previous season. So like,
but I don't want to be working on old stuff when new stuff comes out. At least, I mean, I can understand if I didn't like at the rate that this battle pass is going. You have to almost like this game to get to 100,
and that's not what people want. That's not, and that's counter to a lot of the stuff they were saying about being more community focused with it, not trying to I even recalled them saying certain things, even calling out other battle passes or other games that basically are designed to be time sinks that you don't have the opportunity to play anything else if you want to actually complete the things that they have in store for you. And they said, well, we're not going to do that. If you want to play something else and come back to Halo Infinite, it's all good. How? Not with this battle pass. You can't come back to nothing.
And then they make you have to wait to get all the way to like 95 to get the Emil skin.
Yeah,
I think right before the Emil skin was the George skin. And that's the one thing I will give them credit. They give you full armor sets at certain levels and stuff. And I don't like that you can't. I do
appreciate that you can't mix and match the armor sets. But you look at some of these bots because every now and then you'll get matched with a bot because too many people left the match or something or got disconnected, and the bots be having the armor sets, but they mix and match. And I'm like, how come the bot can do that?
No, you can't mix them. You can't mix them.
No, look, the armor set I have on right now, the one I have called the Cloud9, I can't, if I try to change anything else on it, the visor, anything, it completely switches it to like my default.
No, because you can unlock all those armor. Like if you look at the pass, each one, the only thing that armor you're buying when you buy that armor set, it gives you basically that armor skin for that set.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. I want to say, shout out to Bam. Bam, we gotta get up on Halo, man. We gotta get up together, man. Bam be killing it. Look, I'm trying to get like him. He out here killing everybody in Battlefield. He go to Halo. He kill everybody in Halo.
Bam living his good life. That's why.
I need to. I'm trying to be like him. But shout out to him. He said for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that, bro. He said heading out for the night. You brothers have a good night. The fire show tonight. We appreciate you, man. And also shout out to Phil Collins with the $5 super chat. He says 2 questions. Do people still team kill for better weapons like in Master Chief Collection? And do they have FFA playlists without long matchmaking times?
Oh, you know what? There isn't a free for all list. I haven't seen one.
No, there's not. There's not a free for all list yet.
Yeah, no lone wolf one yet.
Yeah, this is what you have. You have bot arena, which is like you will matchmake with other players, and you'll just go up against bots. And I think they're Spartan, but I haven't done bot arena since the flights, so I don't know what level they are, but I'm assuming they're Spartan. Which is like they got Spartans got aimbot and like 5,000 grenades on them for some reason. So it's I mean they're won't
grenades from their fallen teammates.
Yeah, they're not a big challenge, but you know, like if you're someone who's trying to get better at Halo, yeah, do Spartan. I mean, not Spartan, but by Arena to kind of help yourself kind of get up there, right? There is quick play, which is essentially all the modes, and just casual play is casual. There's ranked, where ranked is everyone starts with a battle rifle and that's it. Yep. And but it has the same playlist from casual, and there's big team battle, which is only 2 maps, I think. No, 3 maps for big team battle
at the moment.
I actually did the 3rd one for the first time a little while before we got on for the show.
Nice.
I played it with Taz, Don Julio. Hadn't seen or heard from Don Julio in years. Taz,
he came back for Halo,
right? Villain, who never plays with us. Villain played with us. Luca, Obi-Wan. We had a great time. But
shout out to the homeboy Bam Bam with the love for Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, you surpassed me, sir. You a beast in every game I see you in. Definitely gonna link up again soon.
I appreciate that high praise. That is totally unwarranted, because I'm not a beast in everything. I try my best, but I look, I'm old. I got old reflexes. I got old hands. I try to rely on guile. You ever play basketball against an old guy? Well, when I was young, I used to play basketball against old guys. They just had like great positioning, but they couldn't chase you around the court. That's me in first person shooters now. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So those are the only modes there. Those 4 modes so far. I've seen some people complain about not being able to just do Slayer and not being able to just do certain modes, but I kind of feel like as of right now, it's good to just kind of leave it the way it is. Force people to play other modes, because then maybe they'll actually enjoy them. Because look, I'll keep it a buck. I don't care. When I have the choice, I don't care about Capture the Flag or Oddball or I just do Slayer or what is it called? It's all battle rifles. What's it called again? SWAT. That's all I do. SWAT and Slayer. So forcing me, but I'm having fun playing Capture the Flag now and Oddball and all the other stuff. So it's like forcing me to actually do that was actually, I think, a good move. Oh man, Robin says Bam hasn't seen Slow-Mo Bucksnax gameplay. Yeah, he also ain't seen my grounded gameplay either. That was painful. But no, oh man, no, about the battle pass. Yeah, I think it's better now with them allowing you to at least get it's called practice makes perfect, where you get 50 experience per match, but they do have to come up with something sooner rather than later. I know they said that they were making some wholesale changes for season 2, but they announced that season 2 ain't happening until May. That's way too long. That's way too long to work on this. They need to do something far sooner than that. I can't really think of anything else that like I've really had an issue with. Performance has been inconsistent, but I think that's also because they kind of didn't give NVIDIA and AMD a heads up with what they were doing, and therefore drivers really aren't in sync with what the games are. This is just for PC. I know on console everything's been great on console, but on PC it's been kind of like weird. Like I'll have a match where I'm at like 100 FPS, and then the very next match I'm sub 60. Why? Like why? It doesn't make any sense. But as far as performance goes, how have things been for you, Forte? Have you been playing on Xbox or PC?
I played on both. I mostly played on Xbox.
Okay.
But playing on, I was having a rough time at first because crossplay is enabled inherently on the game. So I had to turn that off at first because I was getting bodied by PC people. But after that, I finally got used to. It was mostly just getting used to the maps again because it's like, I didn't play in the second, like the other flights where they had the bigger maps. I didn't do big team battle or anything. So the first day I was playing big team battle because we just had a group of people together. So I was getting bodied. I was like, where's the weapons at? Where's the BR? I'm running around with a pistol and an AR. That's all I got. And I was doing decent, but not up to the standards that I kind of set for myself. So I actually went into the armory just to get the feel for the weapons again. Mm-hmm. And bro, that helped me so much just to get timing, like trigger pulls down, at the right intervals to get the best performance out of a gun and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't even getting my perfect, what are they called, the perfect what's the names, I wasn't even getting those at first for a while, but then it all kind of like flipped over. Then I started playing the arena and I was playing quick play. I did some ranked. I actually haven't lost a ranked match yet. I'm like 4-0 in ranked matches.
Oh, you about to be a diamond. Cool. How many ranked matches have you done? I've only done like 3.
I did 4 or 5, and I haven't lost. I think I did 4, but I haven't lost one yet. And it's and a lot of and those are some close games. I'm like, yo, the adrenaline is pumping. I'm really into it. It comes down to like who can get the last power weapon or something like that. I think the implementation of the equipment is really, really, really well done. It's like it comes up just enough that it doesn't really impact the game a lot. But if you're not paying attention to it, it can really change the whole complexion of a game. Mm-hmm. And I think the power weapons, getting back to the point where you actually got to fight over power weapons. I haven't had to fight over a power weapon in a long time because Destiny sniper rifles and everything like that are just normal kits.
Right. Like you come into the match with it versus you got to fight for it.
You got to fight for it. So getting back to that balance state where a game is truly just balanced and the only thing that becomes unbalanced is if you let a team get an upper hand on like a power weapon that allows it to be unbalanced was really refreshing. And I honestly cannot say anything truly negative about the game other than, like you said, the progression system sucks.
Yeah,
and
it does.
It like I said, when I was talking to Luke, I was like, she said, how far in the progression are you? I said, I played like 16, 17 games and I wasn't even ranked 3 yet.
I think I have a total of 40, somewhere in the low 40 matches in. And I'm at I just hit level 6 before the podcast started.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and there's one. It's the practice makes perfect challenge, because that challenge is always there. That's a challenge that you can always get. But the thing that sucks about that challenge, in order to complete it, you have to get 2 practice make perfects, which is all headshots to take somebody down. Not hard, not the easiest thing to do, but not hard either. I had a couple of games where I had like 7 of those in one game, like literally 7 medals of it in one game. But you only get credit in the challenge for 2 for that one game. Mm-hmm. So, and that's 100 points if you finish it. So I'm sitting there like, well, at least they could have made it so that thing scales depending on how many of those trophy or those medals you get per game. Because if I get 7 of them, that means technically I should get 350 XP because each one's worth 50 XP. Yeah. But since the game only counts 1 challenge per game, I only get credit basically on the medal, not on the medal, but in the challenge, I only get credit for 2 of them. So that's something I think they can kind of look at, like find a way to have these challenges scale inside the game versus, you know how Splitgate is, not Splitgate, you know how Rogue Company is. If you finish a challenge in the game, it goes to the next challenge. You know, you just pick up another challenge. Whereas in this game, you have to wait for the game to end, and then the game will assign you a new challenge after that game ends if you complete that challenge. So I think that is one thing that they can use to speed up the progression of it. I don't think it's a horrible progression system. I think some people just got to get used to the fact that you don't get XP for just completing rounds, which is kind of bad.
Hold on a second. Shout out to George in the chat. I think he said that earlier, and I agree with him. He said that he wished there was a. He thinks that. I haven't gone all the way back up to see it, but I think what he was trying to say is that if they had a progression system that wasn't tied to the battle pass, then you could kind of leave the challenges in the battle pass what they are, and still allow people to kind of progress and get some things. But also like get sort of, I remember I think it was Halo Reach where the more you played, the more progression you got just for playing, and you would get higher titles. So like you'd be a lieutenant or whatever. I think the highest was you would get to is Master Chief, and so like that's something I feel like they could implement as well, so that like people still get a sense of progression going, even though it's not necessarily the battle pass. But if they're not going to do that, they absolutely need to retool the battle pass to allow people to get something more than just, I mean, like what they did now is good, but they need a little bit something more than just 50 experience per match if you're not completing a challenge every single time, because it's still 50 when already I think at level 6 or 5 you need 1,000 experience to go to the next level. And so, like, getting 50 a match ain't exactly a lot. Right. So, you know, like, you're going to have to do something to make people feel like they're working towards a particular goal, because that's the format. I know I've heard some things on people on Twitter like, well, back in my day when I played Halo Combat, like I played Halo Combat Evolved 2 as well. And I want a progression system. It's 2021. Get over it. I'm sorry. Like it's just it's different now. Give me a progression system. Like, you know, you also played, you know, split screen co-op and had a little box that was your box of what you were doing in a game on a smaller TV than we currently have now. You want to go back to that too? Like, come on, it's ridiculous. But I just kind of feel like they have to do something to help with the progression, and I think that adopting some of the ways that like other free to play games or shooters, multiplayer games are doing it would be best.
Right, I agree.
Also, Sir Taz in the chat said the premium battle pass gives you 25 levels, which is what I tried to purchase before we started the podcast. But when I turned on my Series S, logged in, for some reason I could not find that. Forgot the name of it. I couldn't find it, but it. I tried to buy it. I think it's like $25 or something like that. I couldn't find it. Because all these matches are only being at level 6. It's kind of disheartening.
But, oh no.
Anyway, it's great, man. I'm enjoying it. I hope the campaign lives up to the same expectations. I don't quite think it will, but I would be happy to be wrong about it. I know that for certain. Right. But you ready to move on, or anything else?
Yeah, we good. I mean, Halo is great. It's not gonna be the last time we talk about it, because we still got the campaign coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm really interested in the changes that they are making to the overall battle pass itself, to the progression system. I think it's gonna get better over time, definitely. And the one thing I just like the most is the fact that they're being very transparent, and they're talking early. They're communicating with the community early about this type of stuff, because, you know, even though the game is in a beta form, I mean, we all know that this is basically the release of Halo's multiplayer,
right?
And it shows a lot of goodwill that they're willing to go back and change some of their design philosophies on the game, not even a week after it being out, because it shows that we are the priority, not what the developers say the priority is as a game. So I appreciate that the most.
I agree. Hopefully this game has legs. Everyone talks about how like it's great to have a game launch well. But when it comes to games as a service, ongoing games like this, yada yada yada, it's not about what you did at launch. It's about what you're doing 90 days later, 120 days later, 6 months later. That's what's important. Do you still have the same number of people playing your game at launch than you do at that time period? And more than likely you don't. You know, and in some cases there'll be some games where they have more. And in some cases, there'll be games where they lose people, but then they kind of catch themselves, realize the mistakes they made, recover, and get people back. You see that with Final Fantasy 14, which is like freaking amazing. Apparently, I haven't played too much of it. I can't do MMOs right now; it's just too much of a time sink. But you know, the people who play it swear by it, act like it's the greatest thing in the world, and you know, I don't think they're capping. I think that's how they really feel. But at one point in time, that game was doo-doo chunks.
Yeah,
it was a doo-doo Slurpee.
Yeah, shout out. What do you think about them? They actually moved up the timetable of the co-op and stuff. They said it's coming out at the beginning of the year in January, February.
Wait. They said that for Halo Infinite?
Yeah.
So, okay, wait. Okay, look, because they had said that the co-op for campaign wasn't coming into the season 2. But season 2 isn't coming until May. So they actually came out and said absolutely it's now separate from the season.
Yes, it's separate because remember the season was supposed to be every 3 months, and they said by the end of season 1 is when you would get the
co-op. Yeah, but like a season. A season is because a season, like people normally think of seasons as like 3 or 4 in a video game sense, it's 3 or 4 months. And so with that said, like you're looking at I was always looking at like February, March. While you're doing that, let me get the super chat from the Lady Foxfire in the house. We are among royalty. Lady Foxfire, I hope you have a great evening. She says the $2 super chat says Halo is better than Battlefield. Hope we can game together. Hey, I look. I know all this stuff is subjective, and I've said this before, but for me, Halo is absolutely better than Battlefield and Call of Duty. If I'm gonna play one of these 3 games, you already know the one I'm playing is Halo. And absolutely, Lady Foxfire. Lady Foxfire is a beast at Halo. So look, I like to play with good people. You know, I like to. I need Lady Foxfire to carry me. But no, like seriously, yeah, we definitely gotta get up at some point, because yeah, I think especially when it comes to me, I'll quit a multiplayer game if I don't have people to play with. That's partially other reason why I quit Splitgate is that I was tired of playing with randoms, and carrying randoms is boring. So, you know, like you want to play with people and you can communicate with, and you know that they you know, you build some chemistry with, and you know, you don't have to call everything out. You know, they know how to handle theirs, and just have some fun. So yeah, just hit me up, Lady Foxfire, whenever you're ready. I'm always down. Did you find what you were looking for about the campaign co-op? If not, it's cool. We can move on to the next topic.
Let me see. It's right. Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but go ahead. Just move on. Ourselves more.
Okay, no problem. No problem. But hey, Halo Infinite is awesome. Play Halo Infinite multiplayer. It's free. If you have an Xbox, you could play it on xCloud. Actually, I think I saw Mr. Badbit trying to trigger everybody on Twitter playing it on xCloud off his cell phone with a DualSense controller, or I think it was a DualShock 4 which I clearly think that was like the most epic of trolls because he was just trying to piss people off by playing Halo with a PlayStation controller. But look, if you even don't have an Xbox, if you got PC, whatever, look, it's free. Download the Xbox app or Steam and have fun. So give it a shot. Moving on, we're going to get into the VGAs.
Oh, right here.
Oh, you got it? Here. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's right here. He has a so of course with 343 Industries previously announced having announced that Halo Infinite won't have co-op or Forza at launch. There were questions about what this means for their arrival. Co-op campaign, after all, was expected to be launched in season 2, which was delayed until May, while Forge was supposed to be added with season 3. So does this mean that they have been delayed as well? Jason Staten says it's unclear, but we will have more information on that in January, but it is possible that the co-op will come earlier.
Okay. All right. So it's no guarantee, but look.
There's no guarantee, but it's
I honestly felt that even when they announced it, that it probably wasn't going to come when people thought it was going to come anyway. That it could get delayed. So,
well, they say they delayed. They said they're delaying season 2 just so they can have more time to make sure season 2 is as polished as it needs to be. Then I think they'll be on their normal cadence of every 3 months. That's what Jason Staten said in his or Joseph Staten said in his thing.
Cool. Okay, let's move on. We're gonna move on to the Video Game Awards. So last Tuesday, we got the nominees for the Video Game Awards. I find it absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it's so hilarious.
Because I told y'all this was going to happen. And look, I know people hate I told you so's, but I don't hate I told you so's. I love telling people I told you. So let's move on to the Video Game Awards. We're gonna put it up on the screen here. They always got the fancy website and everything. Video Game Awards here, and what we're gonna do is go through all the categories. I already voted, so you're gonna see what my votes are. I don't care.
Did you tweet your votes when you did it?
No, I don't tweet my votes.
You ain't want people to know what you did.
And look, I didn't feel like arguing with people all day long. Because I'm not saying I tweet anything and then end up blowing up or anything. I'm not like popular like that, but just the simplest thing will set people off. Oh, the sky's blue today. Someone will be like, no, it's not. It's red. How dare you say it's blue? What is wrong with you? What are you like? Please, I just don't feel like arguing. So it's gonna be no. I didn't tweet it out. But I don't mind people seeing what I tweeted anyway. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Third game of the year.
No, we're gonna save that for last. So that's gonna get into our other topic. Let's completely skip all these esports because we don't care about any of this. We don't care any about that. Most anticipated game. So most anticipated game is recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. And honestly, if anyone should get this award, it should be the marketing teams for these games, because that's the reason why they're most anticipated. It's because of marketing. It's because the devs have shown the game to look well, but like the hype and all that other stuff is all about how it's being presented by publishers and devs and yada yada yada. Anyway, so we have Elden Ring, which comes out February of next year. God of War Ragnarok, which I don't think has a release date yet, but it's sometime next year. Horizon Forbidden West, which is also February next year. This list is the one I chose. The sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I think is anticipated next year, but I don't think Nintendo has confirmed that. And Starfield, which probably the only one that has like the latest latest in the year release date of 11/11. So, Forte, which one of these is the one you think is going to win?
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild?
Yep.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because it's Nintendo and it's Zelda. I think it's overrated, but it is what it is.
No, so Starfield, we don't know anything about. Like,
exactly.
We don't even know what the game is.
Right.
Horizon is, even though it is a really good it's a newer IP and it's something that a lot of people are excited for.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fairly new. And there's a lot of people that didn't too much care for the first one because of the pacing of it. Now, there's a lot of people that's going to be excited because it is the second one. They're expecting that stuff to be better. But I think more people are going to be more excited for God of War than Horizon when it comes to most anticipated. Now, for you, I know you loved Horizon because you played it. You beat it. So I know you are more inclined.
I love it. Look, Horizon Zero Dawn.
You finished it. You
Yeah.
did something that most people didn't do.
That's true. So Horizon Zero Dawn, when I first tried it on PlayStation 4, it's 30 frames per second. Hated it, right? I thought the story was boring. And I didn't get the appeal. Pretty game, but outside of it being pretty, I didn't get it. And a lot of people feel that way. That said, It comes out on PC. I get it on PC because, of course, why wouldn't I get it on PC? It pisses ponies off. I get it on PC. I start playing it. I'm playing even though it has some issues. It has some major issues at launch. That said, once it got stabilized, I'm playing it at like 90 FPS at 1440p ultra settings. It's beautiful. It plays well. I'm like, you know what? I got to the point where I was on PlayStation. I got a little bit further, and I'm so glad I did that because there's a certain part, and I think the biggest issue with Horizon Zero Dawn is that it doesn't have a bad story. It's just poorly told, if that makes sense. It has story pacing issues. So it starts you off with a pretty good premise, and then it just kind of leaves it flat, engrossing you in this world that, you know, most people probably just didn't care about for hours upon hours, like 10 hours.
Right.
And then once you find out what really happened to the old world, what happened to Aloy, who she really is, why everything is the way it is, that's a good story. It's a good story. Once you, like, I will watch that movie. If they made a movie off of what happened prior to Horizon Zero Dawn, I will watch that. It'll be good. And so, like, I got engrossed in that. The combat, like, fighting humans sucks, but fighting the monsters is cool. I just beat it. I just went through to beat it. The Frozen Wilds expansion is really good too. It's a good game. I'm hoping that they fix these issues with Horizon Forbidden West, but the reason why I chose that one is that like I like God of War, but I didn't love it. I don't care about From Software games, so Elden Ring isn't it for me. I think Zelda's overrated. I think all of them are overrated, and I also think Bethesda games are overrated. So I know a lot of people. I just triggered a whole bunch of people just now, but it's my opinions. I don't care.
Your opinion's wrong, but okay. Because okay, so going into that, saying what you just said, I think God of War is going to be more anticipated than Breath of the Wild. I mean, not Breath of the Wild, than Horizon. Whereas Zelda is coming off the most successful Zelda game ever to launch. That's people were buying Breath of the Wild that didn't even have systems.
I definitely trigger people in the chat. I love it.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Also, chat, let me know. Katowski saying that my mic is going in and out. I may have been moving around as I was talking. I don't know. I get animated sometimes, so that might be it. But let me know if my audio is sounding weird, and I'll try to make some adjustments. Okay, go ahead, man.
No, I just think that in general, a lot of people are going to, like I said, Breath of the Wild sold copies of the game to people that didn't even have Switches. You know, people were buying it with the anticipation of picking up a Switch, but they didn't want to run out and not have the game. So I think a lot of the stuff that people want to be fixed inside of Breath of the Wild, like the emptiness of the worlds in some areas and stuff like that, traditional dungeons being brought back to the game on top of the shrines and stuff that they had. I think that's what's going to bring people back and make them more excited for this version of the game than the first time around. Mm-hmm. And then on top of it, it's a Nintendo game. And Nintendo, generation.
That's all you had to say. It's a Nintendo.
No, Nintendo. This generation, I think Zelda is their flagship game. I mean, Mario will always be the flagship. Mario Kart is the most selling game on there. That's why the holiday bundle for this year is Mario Kart all over again for the third year in a row. but Zelda is their system seller for people on the Switch. That's why I think they're probably going to announce the new Switch next year. They're going to have that Switch because they're going to announce it in conjunction with this game. And it's going to make people want to run out and pick up this game all over again. And the fact that they showed it out last year and a lot of people fell in love with something that looked almost the same as what we had before kind of lets you know that this game is going to do buku numbers when it finally does release. So
it's going to be ridiculous numbers, and I'm going to be completely disgusted. But let's move on.
It's going to be tough.
Let's move on.
But you did good at picking your thing. I see you out here.
Best debut indie. For the best debut game created by a new independent studio, we have The Artful Escape, made by Beethoven and Dinosaur Annapurna. We got The Forgotten City, which I heard is very good. I have installed it through Game Pass, but I haven't quite played it yet. But The Forgotten City by Modern Storyteller and Dear Villagers. We got Kena Bridge of Spirits by Ember Lab. That's my choice. We got Sable, made by Shedworks, and Raw Fury, and Valheim, made by Iron Gate Studio and Coffee Stain. So you see what my choice is. I chose Kena. I chose Kena because it's the only one up. Well, I have played Valheim. I couldn't get into it, but Kena is the only one that I played and I really enjoyed it. I was highly anticipating this game ever since it was first revealed at the PlayStation Showcase. And yeah, man, like one shout out to minority, two black men running the studio. You love to see it, and I think their first game was very good. It had some issues here and there, but nothing major, like minor gripe kind of stuff. And I can't wait to see what their next game is going to be. What would your choice be, Forte?
Well, it's Valheim is actually pretty good from what I hear. I haven't played it myself, but a lot of people like Valheim a lot. But I think Kena is going to take this one because it's very ambitious for, especially on a graphical standpoint. I mean, it looks like a Pixar movie, and I heard, and for the most part, people are having problems with these bosses in this game,
bro.
So it looks like a game that a kid would want to play, but when you hear people complaining about these bosses and how crazy they are, it lets you know that it has a lot more stuff in it.
Corrupted Tarot, I tell you, Corrupted Tarot ended the adventure for a number of gamers in this game. Corrupted Tarot almost made me break a DualSense controller, man. I was like, you cheating. Okay, let me now get into it. Shout out to Game Over Brian with the $5 super chat. He said, to two most beautiful human beings on YouTube. Oh, that's very kind words, Brian.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro. Thank you.
Here, my SC. Yo, Slow-Mo, I'm off work on Monday. If you down for Game of Pony Ball, I'm down. Long live Pegasus. Brian, I appreciate the kind words. You keep trying to paint me as a pony or part of Pegasus Nation, and I refuse to be a part of Pony Dust Nation. That's not happening, sir. But I do appreciate the kind words. You're a good dude, man, and I'm glad to see you again. My bad, man. Which game did you say you would choose here?
It would be Kena. I would have to pick Kena.
Cool. Kind of speed this up because I know sorry, we were starting late and I don't want to keep everybody too late because we got one more topic and it's going to be super spicy. All right, look, I know y'all see who I chose, right? I don't even know who
you don't even know who Dream is.
I have zero. Look, I thought his icon's funny.
No, a lot of people pick Dream. Like I was watching a lot of people pick their game of the year, and I was like, they picking Dream because of the icon.
No, it's funny. I can draw better than that. I just figured like, that's hilarious. Like, look, and this is for content creator of the year, for a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2021. I honestly have no idea who any of these people are. I have never heard of any of them. This is the first year. No, I really can't. Abai, Gaules. Is this real? Are these real names?
Is that something that came out of an Xbox Live generated
Is the F silent and is it just Greg? I don't know. I don't know who these look whatever. Who you picked Dream 2, didn't you?
Yeah, of course I picked Dream.
Is the only one I can pronounce. The only one I can pronounce, and his icon is something I could draw. There we go. Best multiplayer game. We have for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. And that's funny that they added that in there because they're clearly all about game platform. Let me stop. Our nominees are Back for Blood by Turtle Rock, Knockout City by Velen and EA, It Takes Two by Hazelight Studios and EA, Monster Hunter Rise and Capcom, The New World at Amazon, and Valheim again, Iron Gate Studios. So I chose Back for Blood. It was really kind of a toss up for me between Back for Blood and It Takes Two. It Takes Two is just really, really good, and it's a central co-op experience. But I'm a big Left 4 Dead stan, and therefore Back for Blood was my choice. What about you, man?
It Takes Two. The little bit that we did play it is still with. We need to finish that game, but the little I played, and only reason because I would have beat that game by now if it didn't require you to play it with a second person.
Well, look. Name one time you hit me up like we gotta go.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. I'm not saying you. I didn't say. Did I name you?
I know. I just wanted to let you know that. Look, I've been ready.
If I had somebody to play it with, the game would have been beat by now. And it's not like I've been going out of my way to say, "So let's play, let's taste." The only time I think about it is as soon as I see it. Whenever I see it, and you know what it is. Part of it's because we have it on PlayStation, and I don't be on my PlayStation all the time. Yeah. So I only see it when I'm over there.
I'm on my PlayStation sometimes.
Well, just as much as I am. Which is
no, I'm on my PlayStation more than you are. I know that for a fact.
When last time you was on your PlayStation?
2 days ago. Actually, I'm sorry. No, because I haven't played anything but Halo Infinite. Last weekend, I played. Okay. I was on my PlayStation playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and then I switched over to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
So I was on there 4 days ago because I was playing Call of Duty over there. I have Call of Duty Vanguard on PlayStation, so I was playing that over there. So I played over there recently. But no, you're right. But yeah, that was my pick. It Takes Two, because I think that game is truly incredible, and we need to finish it.
Yep. So the next category is Best Sports and Racing, which is like the most slam dunkingest category there is.
Are you sure it's slam dunk?
Absolutely. Stop
you don't,
it, Forza Horizon.
You don't like F1 2021?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's got no shot. Neither this FIFA. Hot Wheels Unleashed. I didn't even know that came out this year. The only thing that's close is Riders Republic. And if Forza didn't come out this year, I think it would be Riders Republic's show award, because I heard it's good, even though I tried it and I couldn't get into it. But Forza Horizon 5 is excellent. It's the best racing game that's out right now. And I think it's going to win this easily.
Oh, yeah. Easy. Forza is going to run away with this. I think it's kind of unfair. Like, I think it's real unfair that Riders Republic is a part of this category. And we're going to get to the category that I think it should have been a part of. Because best multiplayer game.
It probably should have been in that. Yeah.
Why be in this? I mean, I understand there's a bunch of esports stuff inside of it, but it's more of a multiplayer game. Like where Forza is a car game through and through, and if you want to throw racing into a sports genre, I can understand that because racing is a sports genre. We just hate that they classify racing as a game that can't win Game of the Year. Whereas Riders Republic is more, it's got sports elements, but it's a multiplayer game through and through.
Right. All that said, Forza's going
to slam dunk this one. This is going to win this and another one that we'll get to later.
Right. So, a best sim and strategy, best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Even though I think wasn't this nominated last year on PC?
It sure was.
But you know what? Now that I think about the fact that it was nominated and won last year, I kind of wonder if
The
they may
same
just.
exact category, best sim and strategy.
I kind of wonder they're gonna give it to someone else just
I wonder
because
why. How did it get it twice though?
it came out on Xbox.
Yeah, but usually if a game comes
Right.
out,
Usually you don't do that. Usually like Hades came out
yeah,
on
'cause Hades
everything
came out,
else this
yeah.
year, but which was my first time playing it, and it's my personal like favorite game I played this year. But Hades isn't getting nominated for anything this year because Hades came out last year. Which like why is Flight Sim here? I don't get it. But here the nominees is Age of Empires 4, Evil Genius 2, World Domination, Humankind, and Inscription. Humankind's cool. I played Humankind a little bit.
You play Evil Genius. I hear a lot of good things about it.
I have never heard this game, but just by the whole look, kind of gets me intrigued. Inscription. I think it was Oh No Alex that was high on this one.
He talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never played it. In Age of Empires 4, I actually was a little bit disappointed because it's really not much.
I haven't played it yet.
It's not that much different from Age of Empires 3. It just
looks Game Pass on PC too, right?
Yes, it just looks visually better. It runs like crap on Game Pass PC. It runs awful. Like, how about I got a 3070, my beast rig, and I was getting under 60 FPS in a top down stretch. Come on, it was optimized poorly, and I know they're working on it, but all that said, I kind of feel like it came out too early. It came out too early, but I think Flight Sim's probably gonna win again. That's my choice. What do you think?
Oh no, yeah, Flight Sim. I just don't understand how it made it twice. But yeah, Flight Sim for me all day.
Next is Best Family. So look, Best Family is yeah. This has always been the Nintendo like award but I think this year Nintendo is not gonna get it because for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of game or genre, I think It Takes Two is a better game than Mario Party Superstars.
I don't know
new
about
Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury, and WarioWare. It's better than all
Bowser's Fury.
I haven't played any of them, and I'm capping because I can't stand Nintendo first party games.
Bowser's Fury is so good because you can play up to 4 people in it, and it's pretty incredible, bro. Of all those games,
it's better than It Takes Two.
Listen,
if it was that good, why didn't it get nominated for Game of the Year?
Because Metroid Dread did.
All this cat for Nintendo.
listen, slow mo.
All this cat for Nintendo.
It Takes Two is a great game.
Yes, it is.
And it guess what? And it will win It will, in my opinion, it will win multiplayer Game of the Year. It will win that.
Probably.
But it will win that. But when it comes to this category, when I think
this
family,
is the Nintendo cat. You know what? No, you're probably right because this is the Nintendo category.
Is more than just 2 people, whereas all these other games are like 4 and 5 people that can play at one time.
You know, you make a good point.
Unless it's just you and your girl and y'all ain't got no kids. That is considered a family. You're right.
Look, that's you. I think you have a point, though. I think when they said family play, I think they meant kind of, like playing with your spouse and your children and all together. And to be honest, like the content, the plot of It Takes Two is pretty heavy, and there's some scenes really there. Heavy. There's some scenes there where you and I was like, awkward, right?
Right.
So you know, like I don't know if that's something that like you really
Boss Bite was really cool though.
Right. Oh yeah, they were. Best fighting game, I literally do not care. I just chose the only one I can remember that came out this year.
Guilty
Gear Strive, yeah. I don't care about fighting game at all.
In the name of Barry, I picked that one because that's what Barry would want me to pick.
Moving on, best role-playing game, one that I did care about.
Let's see what you picked. Let me see it.
I've played.
See if you picked wrong or not.
3 out of 5 of these. I haven't played Shin Megami Tensei 5 because that literally just came out, and I don't have a Switch. But it looks like that's coming out on PC, so I don't care. I'm gonna get it on PC sometime next year. Monster Hunter Rise is also on Switch. I haven't played it. I
It's
don't.
really good. I
I
hear.
I'm about. Well, in a second, I'm about to get into something. I chose Tales of Arise. 'Cause Tales of Arise, I think, is a better RPG than Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus, I really enjoyed, and it was one of my favorite games this year. But Tales of Rise is just a better RPG. No one is more deserving of winning this category this year than Tales of Arise, and no one else can convince me differently. That said, why the freak is Cyberpunk here? What the? Why is Cyberpunk here? Now look, before people try to go, actually, I don't really even think there's too many people that would defend Cyberpunk. But if someone tries to defend Cyberpunk in this, I don't think Cyberpunk should have been nominated for any of these categories. And it's not just because the game was broken at launch.
8.6 out of 10.
I don't care. I do not care. That story, although decent, is not great. It is not. I haven't played these two, but I'll take Scarlet Nexus story over Cyberpunk story. The characters weren't that great either. Although Judy and Judy and the other girl from the desert that they stole her look from Tristan Mays. They were great. Everyone else sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Percolator 9000 who donated $2 in the super chat, and he says, "I made it at work, got the points, slow-mo backslap." What to reference what he's talking about? Perk is consistently trying to convince me that he actually got the necessary points to make me play a From Software game on Twitch. It's 50,000 points. Perk has not got 50.
Got the points?
He did not get the points. He has been trying to fool me into thinking he's redeemed the points multiple times. It's not going to work. I know what it looks like when you redeem points, Perk. You have not redeemed any points. You don't have it, sir. You clearly don't have more than T-Rock does. And T-Rock's at like 33K. So we're gonna move it on. And well, I'm sorry. Like you
so
need
how
to.
does somebody?
You
Can
didn't
you
pick
see how
yours.
many points that people have of yours?
No, I can't. But if he redeemed it, I would know.
You would know if he redeemed it because
Yeah.
it'll pop up on your screen.
And then, not only that, I could go into my profile and see what people have redeemed. For channel points. And
maybe I should go. Can I go to
got
your
a big
channel and redeem
dono.
something even if you're not online?
No, I have to be online. But
you might we might not want to go online no time soon.
What are you gonna redeem? What highlight my message?
Oh no, I don't have 50,000. I got 31.
Oh, so wait, we trying to make me play Destiny? Because I mean, I don't know why I put that in there. I don't want to play Destiny. But look, let's get back on topic. Best role playing game. Cyberpunk does not deserve to be here. Name any other role playing game that came out this year and put it in that category because they got robbed. Cyberpunk shouldn't be here. What do you think, sir?
Cyberpunk. As soon as I saw it in there, I looked at the screen twice. What? Did Jeff Keighley literally say Cyberpunk 2077 first? So this is already a weak category because they decided to want to put that in there. But the little I played of Tales of Arise, I can tell you right now that that's probably the superior game. I played quite a bit of Scarlet Nexus. I haven't beat it yet. And just the little intro parts of Tales of Arise, even though it starts off a little bit slow, you can definitely see the care that's been put into that game, and you can see the structure that they want you to go about in the battle system is actually really, really cool too. So I think Tales of Arise is definitely gonna win that, but I have not played Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I have a bunch of people that I know that bought that game on Switch says that is their game of the year so far for this year. I want to play it,
but I don't.
But you don't have a Switch.
But I don't want to play it. So look, what made me get a Switch was how badly I wanted to play Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I do not want to play Shin Megami Tensei that bad that I would go get another Switch. Plus, I found out it's coming to PC, So I'll just wait for it to come to PC. But I mean, look, it's
Wait,
cool.
I thought you said you don't wait, Slow-Mo.
I don't wait.
You're waiting though.
I'm waiting for something I barely want to play. This is a marginal care of playing.
You said you're waiting. You said you don't. You said
I said I don't want to. I want to play it, but I don't own the platform that it's on, and I don't care enough about that game to go spend $300 on a crappy, overpriced piece of trash Switch to play it on at 30 FPS barely.
Oh shit!
So I'm not. Hey, language. Sir?
Shoot. Yeah, shoot.
I refuse to buy a Switch to play that game, and if it's coming to PC next year, cool. There we go. Look, let's move on. Move on. You chose Tales of Arise, so did I. Best action adventure game for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. So now look. The nominees is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. Now, I haven't played Village, so I didn't choose that. I haven't played Dread, and I wouldn't even think even if I did. But anyway, Ratchet & Clank and Psychonauts 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy, I've beaten all three of those games. Although I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy more than Psychonauts 2 and Ratchet & Clank, if you look at the description here, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, Guardians, the weakest part of Guardians of the Galaxy is its combat. It's not bad. It's just not as good as the rest of its parts. But it's also the combat, I think, in Guardians is not as good as Psychonauts 2. The design of Psychonauts 2 combat or Rift Apart, the fun of playing Rift Apart. So if that's what the category is about, I can't vote for Guardians. Now, when it comes to the puzzle solving, I always universally hate doing puzzles in the game. But Psychonauts 2 puzzles were fun. They were really, really fun. And I think, although I think Ratchet & Clank's combat's better than Psychonauts 2 combat, the fact that it's got decent combat and great puzzle solving and great boss fights. I just had to choose Psychonauts 2 here. What about you?
So let's go from left to right. Guardians. Yeah, it's good. It probably should have been in the Game of the Year category, but
hold on, real quick. Ramon Terrell said, everyone pull our money together and get Slow-Mo a custom pink and lavender Switch. Ramon, I'm going to tell you right now, y'all are wasting y'all money if y'all do that. Because I'm going to record a video of myself throwing it in the Anacostia River. That's what I'm going to do. Like a frisbee. I'm going to throw it like a frisbee. The Anacostia River is a cesspool. It will probably melt before our eyes before it reaches the bottom. So look, don't waste your money.
Shout out to Anonymous. Wait a minute, Slow-Mo. Clown me for not buying a PS4 to play Final Fantasy VII Remake and waiting for it to come to Xbox.
Because
that's a good point there, sir.
He doesn't know if it's ever coming in yet. It could show up on Xbox in 2028.
It's coming to Xbox, sir.
When?
We don't know when, but it's coming.
Exactly. He wants to play that game badly. I don't want to play Shin Megami Tensei that bad.
Slow-Mo, you saying that because you're saying that only because it's on a Switch. If it wasn't the fact that it was tied to a Switch, you'd be all over it.
If I still own the Switch, of course I would play it. But it's not worth me buying a Switch for. Is Rodimus telling me he doesn't own a PlayStation? Really? You don't own the PlayStation? You can't go on eBay and spend $100 on a used PlayStation 4 and play that game. There are no used Switches out here.
Used PlayStation 4s aren't cheap. They still $279.
Why?
Because you can't find one.
What is wrong with people? Why would look?
Listen, man. GameStop out here selling them for $279.
Get on topic, man.
You can't even find them.
Time. It's the IOP now. Time. What is your choice here, sir?
So Guardian of the Galaxy probably would have been my choice, but I don't know. I'll get to it. Metroid isn't going to win this category because it's going to win another one. Psychonauts is it's between Psychonauts and Resident Evil for me. One of those two are going to win. More than likely.
You have to choose one.
Oh man, the puzzles are better in Psychonauts. Resident Evil has those weird puzzles. I just think the overall story in Resident Evil is really compelling, but Psychonauts I feel like has a better story. So if I had to pick, it would be Psychonauts.
Okay, cool.
But because Metroid, I don't even know. Does Metroid even really? There is a story to Metroid. Samus does have a story. There is a back catalog to that woman.
Nintendo games. They are light on story. It's
very light, but
dash of story. It's a dash of story.
Okay, we're gonna fight about this one, but go ahead.
All right, so best action game. For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat, we have Back 4 Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6, and Returnal. Now, y'all see my choice.
You got to explain yourself.
Y'all see my choice.
I see your choice. You got to explain yourself.
Let me preface this that y'all already know. I'm a Left 4 Dead stan.
Okay.
So I chose Back 4 Blood because this is about best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat, and I love the Left 4 Dead gameplay loop. I love the combat. I love fighting the hordes. I love how random it is. I love how every time you do a run, it's different, where they show up differently. I love all that stuff. It's great. I love that you need to have teamwork, that you can't do it alone. If you're alone, you're gonna die. That's that Left 4 Dead format I love. Now, the other choices, Deathloop disappointed me. I tried to like Deathloop, I really did. And I was really highly anticipating that game. Like when I did my video,
I know you were
at the beginning of the year about my most anticipated games this year. Deathloop was in there. And when I played it, it's just like it's the gunplay. It's just not up to snuff.
Okay.
In this, I know it's Arcane, and they like it's better than say Dishonored, but it's just like the disparity between where it is and where good gunplay is still far off. So not Deathloop. I never played Chivalry 2, so I couldn't choose that. Far Cry 6. I'm done with Far Cry. I just can't play Far Cry games anymore. I tried it. I got Ubisoft Plus. I said I wasn't gonna play it. I installed it anyway. I should have just listened to myself. I did not enjoy a single part of that game. Nothing.
Okay.
And Returnal is a good game. I need to get back to it. I might get back to Returnal before the year is out. Because now that they fixed stuff and they actually made it so that I can actually go do something else and not have to have my PlayStation running, for hours until I get back. I think it's worth getting back into. That said, the action, I prefer the gunplay of the first person shooter Back 4 Blood more than the combat that in Returnal. And that's really what it comes down to. For me, it was between those two, Returnal and Back 4 Blood, and I just chose Back 4 Blood because I'm a Left 4 Dead stan.
Okay, at least you admitted it, because that was my whole. Because I wanted to add, the question I wanted to ask you was how much the fact that you are a Left 4 Dead stan, and I'm with you, because if Destiny was in this category, I would probably pick Destiny because I'm a Destiny stan.
Right.
But Returnal, even like I was on a 3-hour run on that game and it crashed on me and I never went back.
But see, like I didn't even consider that into my because that has nothing to do with like combat, right?
No, but it does have something to do with your experience, and that does play a part in like the fact that you didn't play it anymore is due to the fact that it had those problems. Right. That's why I'm saying how much of your decision was based on the fact that you just never went back to Returnal because of all the issues that we're having versus you being a Left 4 Dead stan. How much of that actually played a part into it?
Well, I mean, the combat is the combat. Look,
Returnal's combat is like really good. Like the little bit that I did play, I was like, "Yo, this like if I had to put both next to each other, Returnal got way better combat because it's more at stake in that combat.
Yeah,
when you're playing. Left 4 Dead, you die, you can get picked up. Returnal, you die, you going back and starting over. There is definitely more at stake than Returnal.
Yeah, of course that's the truth, but that's not
the loop
but,
of the game.
but just because there's more at stake doesn't mean the combat's better. That's just like you prefer a segment of the combat that more than what's in the other game.
Well, I guess it comes down to how much you like the bullet hell version of the game. Like, are you a bullet hell person?
Yeah, I like Left 4 Dead.
Because I love bullet hells.
Look,
so
man,
that kind of speaks to me more than
I love playing Left 4 Dead with friends, and the horde starts coming, and you guys rush to a room with only one entrance way, and just basically hunker down, and it's a war of attrition. You know, basically firing a way to get out of it, like, and it's not easy. Now. It's not easy because like, look, and Back 4 Blood's harder than actually like original Left 4 Dead games, and people who have played it know, like it's people who can't get through all 4 acts on rookie. So it is what it is. Look, man, I like Back 4 Blood. It's like. No.
What you just said, kind of. Look, I'm trying to find a way to give you out, other than you just saying you want to a Left 4 Dead stand. I'm trying to find a way out of this for you. Part of me feels.
Why do I need a way out?
Because the fact that listen, man, Returnal. Because I just don't feel like you gave Returnal a good enough chance. Because
I'm not saying it's a bad game or anything. I'm going to get back to it, but it's just like in that category.
You basically said between those two, you was between those two games. So that's basically you saying that is not a bad game. It's a good game. It was one of your 2 picks for that category. But for me, listening to what you just said, you said one thing that is one feature for Back 4 Blood that is inherent to it versus Returnal, it isn't. And that's friends.
That's true. It's multiplayer.
Yeah, being able to go into that experience with friends heightens your experience in that game more than anything. Whereas Returnal, first of all, it didn't work like it was supposed to work. Second of all, it's a single player experience, so your mileage is only going to vary to the experience that you're having to yourself. So I'm not saying that I'm not, taking your experience and saying that, it isn't what it should be, because this is your game. Your game of the year, and your, action game of the year is your action game of the year. When I look at it, it's like, it seems like it's more based on, because if I had to ask you this, if you could only play Back 4 Blood by yourself, and it was a single player experience by yourself.
No, it's awful.
And then you had that between Returnal.
With bots. No, yeah, I would choose Returnal. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking in my mind. It's got to be the friend thing, and it's nothing wrong, because that is part of that game. Returnal does not have a multiplayer component where you can go through it, so that should be weighed into the experience of that. So
look, man, my choice ain't that deep. I chose what I chose. What are you choosing for that? Because we got another topic, and we need to get through this stuff, man. We don't need to spend 10 minutes in every category.
Well, I already argued what I would have picked Returnal.
Okay, good. Best VR. I've actually never played VR, but why did I choose Lone Echo 2? Because I know it's going to win. Because and shout out to the homie K Asante, who sings the praises of the series. It's made by Ready at Dawn, who did the Order 1886 for PlayStation 4. And this game apparently is extremely good. And I just, it's the category that I have zero care for. I just chose what I think is the most popular choice. I think it's going to be this one. What do you think?
I would pick Lone Echo, because my daughter played it. My daughter plays most of the VR games now. Mm-hmm. But she played Resident Evil 4 because she loves Resident Evil in VR. And she beat Resident Evil 4 in VR, and she said it was one of the most scariest experiences she ever had. So I would pick Resident Evil, but that's mostly due to the fact that I haven't played them myself, and she played both of them, and she liked Resident Evil more. But that might be more of the fact that she's just a Resident Evil fan more than anything else. Yeah, I remember
you saying she's a big Resident Evil fan. Yeah. So you're picking which one again?
I would do Resident Evil 4.
Okay, cool. Innovation and accessibility. Now, I Okay,
Forza.
recognizing software and/or hardware that's pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. Um, I know. Okay, so I've played everything up here except for the Veil Shadow of the Crown. I have no idea what that is, but I do think the accessibility options were very good in all of these games. But and this might be some recency bias here, but the one that stood out to me the most was Forza's, based
Yes.
upon just like what I saw on the options, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I chose Forza. What about you?
Forza will win this because the accessibility options is wide open. Even people playing on Xboxes right now, even if they don't have a disability, are playing with those accessibility options on. So
Yeah.
Forza's gonna win this because they make it easy for even the people that don't have a disability just to play the game normally.
Right. Next is best community support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. And I chose Final Fantasy 14 Online because I think they've had an amazing year. The community is for what I've seen, especially from a lot of people that I know picked up that game this year, talked about how great the community is and helping people along and showing people the ropes with like a very big expansive MMO. I thought it was well worth the vote for that one over the other games that seem to always be in this category every single year. What do you think?
Um, No Man's Sky is really really good. The story behind that game is phenomenal. Everybody knows it. Final Fantasy is going to win this category though, and that's what I will vote for. And it'd be by default because I can't vote for Destiny because they treat the community like crap
Yes,
sometimes. So,
sometimes,
so no,
all
sometimes,
the time,
sometimes they treat us like crap.
sometimes.
But when they do treat us like crap, it feels bad because we support them and we do it knowing they're going to treat us like crap. So Destiny would have been my pick, but I can't, in good conscience, vote for that game when it comes to the community. Because the community, no, we're literally at the mercy of whatever Bungie does with that game. Final Fantasy, on the other hand,
Oops.
multiple DLCs came out. They're listening to the feedback from their community. They're implementing things inside the game that people love the most. All you gotta do is hear Def Singer and Villain talk about it on Scumcast, and
As
that's
well
the
as
one thing that
all day's
and all
into it too,
day
and he loves it too. Yeah.
they love it. So just let you know that that game is. Shout out to PMS Jordan because if you follow her on Twitter, she's always talking about Final Fantasy 14.
Right.
So yeah, that would be the game I would pick. It's just mostly by default because Bungie doesn't care about us really.
Right. Best mobile game. I don't play any of these.
Yeah,
For the best game playable on a mobile device, I chose Marvel Future
you
Revolution.
don't even know what that game is, dude.
Absolutely not. I don't care. I just chose something and kept it moving. I
It's
almost
gonna
closed
be
my eyes and chose it at random. Although I played Genshin Impact and it's okay, but I refuse to choose that one because of the racial undertones that happen in that game, and I'm not cool with that. Go ahead.
Pokemon Unite.
Of course you choose Pokemon. Moving on. Um, excuse me. Best indie. This might actually be somewhat interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it will be.
for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system, we have 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Inscription, Kane the Bridge of Spirits, and Loop Hero. This was hard for me because I have beat 3 out of the 5 games here. 12 Minutes is definitely not close to best indie for me. It's all right. So I know some people were really like, "Why? What is it doing here?" It's because that game's very polarizing. People either love it or hate it. I'm in the minority of the people that just thought it was just, it was all right. Um, Shout out to everyone who did watch my stream of that though, because some people said they really enjoyed the game and went and played it themselves based off my stream. But
Nice.
me myself, I was just like, it's just okay. Now, I
Okay.
chose Death's Door because I think it's the best indie game that has come out this year. I felt like it should be a game of the year, but it's not. But all that said, I thought Death's Door is the best indie to come out this year by far. But it's better than Kane of Bridge of Spirits, and that's why I chose it. What about you?
As soon as I saw this category and I saw Death's Door, I was like, whatever category this is in, it's going to win because it did not win. It didn't even get nominated for Game of the Year. So,
exactly.
Unfortunately,
you know how the game is played.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kana probably would have won this. I think Kana's going to win the category earlier because we always know how this goes.
Right.
Kana's going to win that one.
Best new indie studio or something like right.
Yep, whatever. Yep. First new indie studio. They're going to win that one because I think they made an amazing game. The only one that's in the code on this one is 12 minutes because Death's Door, if it wasn't a part of this category and it was in Game of the Year, I think 12 minutes would have won this category.
Really?
I think so because from most people, like, listen, I didn't play it myself. I'm just like, because I know you played it and I know a whole bunch of other people played it. Now, it's not to say that Kana couldn't win it. It easily could win it could win multiple awards. See Red Dead Redemption the year it lost to what's the name? They won everything. But 12 minutes is actually a really interesting game because I did start playing, but it's just going through my Destiny funk and I didn't finish it. But Death's Door.
Here's probably my biggest issue with 12 minutes outside of that plot twist that really left.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you how you feel about that.
I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Like I didn't like that plot twist. That plot twist made me like look. I remember being on stream and like, wait, what? What's happening here? Oh no! I'm looking at it in my chat was just like, oh my god! Like it's just, did we have to go here?
We did.
And there's certain things that like about like the gameplay design that I didn't like how you could kind of break the game where it's like they give you all this freedom, but they really only want you to do certain things to progress the story. And even though you would like find ways to break the system, they would just go out of their way to make sure that you couldn't do it. Like, why is the guy handcuffed still kicking the husband's behind? He's handcuffed behind his back. Somehow he's still whooping you. Like, what? That's impossible. It's just like no. I just couldn't get with some things, which is fine. But it wasn't for me. Death's Door, I think, is the best indie though. You agree?
No, I agree 100%.
All right. Best ongoing game. So this is awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. We have Apex Legends, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, and Call of Duty Warzone. I chose Final Fantasy 14 Online because it seems to have stolen all the WoW community. And I just figured, hey, look, you're having the best year of this game's existence right now, so why the freak not, right? So that's what I chose.
Yeah, best ongoing game.
Wait, real quick, Ryan said Sea of Thieves was snubbed. Do you think Sea of Thieves was snubbed for this category?
I do think it was kind of because I feel like it should be in this just because I don't think anybody in this list should be taken off of it. I just think this is a category where a 6-1 should have been because I think Sea of Thieves has been consistent with their updates.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So far, have we had any categories so far that have had 6 nominations?
Have we?
I think they're all been 5. I'm about to check real quick because this is going to get into the Game of the Year talk.
Yeah.
5. Everything's 5.
So
Everything is 5. There is no 6 nominees. Wait, no, there was one. What's this? Best multiplayer game. 6. Never mind. Because I was going to talk about the fact that we got 6 nominees for Game of the Year, but everything else is 5. I was about to be like,
but that's what I'm saying.
Phone.
It should have been. That's why I'm saying he's absolutely right about what's the name. Because I don't think any of these games for that category should be taken out for best ongoing game. But I do think Sea of Thieves should be added to that list because that game has done a lot over the course of the last couple of years. And when they mean ongoing,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
It's not just 1 year where they add a whole bunch of like Disney properties and stuff to it. They've been consistently adding stuff to that game over the course of the last couple of years. Like, I wasn't even shocked that Destiny wasn't in there. I was like, yeah, it's an ongoing game, but you know, it's been there every year. This is the first year it hasn't been there.
Really done this year? Like their annual expansion got delayed.
It didn't come out this year. Right. It comes out next year.
Yeah, the Destiny would have no shot to even be.
Yeah, it wouldn't even have a chance. Right. So I agree. So yeah, Sea of Thieves is the only thing I think is missing. Now, even with that being said, I don't think Sea of Thieves will win, because I think Warzone will have a better chance, because Warzone has been flying high ever since they really switched over from Blackout. But I do think, and then Genshin Impact was hot at the beginning of this year, but that was only this year, so it hasn't been sustained long enough. Where I think Final Fantasy has been pretty much gaining momentum for the last 2-3 years, and that's before their new DLC comes out later this year. Well, just getting ready to come out, actually.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to push it over the ledge, and it's going to win this category.
I need to check something real quick. It's something that I forgot, and I'm going to have to apologize to someone who had made a comment on one of my videos earlier this week, and it is he's in the chat now. I think his name is Buck. But he had he made a comment on my live stream with the Halo multiplayer. What was it? Yeah, the live stream of the 20th anniversary of Xbox. Yeah. He had some questions for us, and I told him that I would say these questions on DPS today. So his first question was, did either of you think it was strange Bungie was not prominently featured in the celebration? I understand it was 343's moment, but Bungie created Halo. Xbox and Bungie seem tight now, especially with Phil. Makes me think omission may be related to some Bungie Xbox collaboration on something. Been nearly 5 years since Destiny 2 release. You're more into the Destiny community than I am, so what do you think about that?
I think he's absolutely correct in the second part that he said. There's a reason that I think Bungie wasn't really a part of the Xbox celebration of the first 20 years, because Bungie did kick off the 20 years with Xbox because they did bring Halo over. But Bungie has their 30th anniversary coming up on December 8th. And there's a lot of stuff that's going to be in the game that they haven't talked about, that they said they're adding. And I guarantee it's going to be a bunch of Halo stuff. And I think that celebration is kind of being saved for what Bungie is going to be doing in conjunction with Halo and Xbox when the 30th anniversary of Bungie comes around on December 8th.
Okay.
So, which happens to be the day before Halo comes out. Or actually, no, it's the day that Halo comes out. Same day, December 8th.
So you think something may happen around that time?
Well, Bungie's going to announce all their 30th anniversary stuff very soon. They already announced some of the stuff, like some of the weapons and stuff that's going to be available in the game, but they haven't talked about the cosmetic stuff. And I guarantee you there's going to be something Master Chief themed up in there. Sure. Because you can't really talk about, it's like you can kind of talk about Xbox's 20 years without really talking about Bungie per se, because Bungie's not part of Xbox anymore. Even knowing they did kind of do it because they talked about Halo.
I just thought of something. What if Bungie and Xbox announced a Spartan armor that looks like the Hunter or the Titan from Destiny?
Inside of Halo?
Inside of Halo. It's a skin or something like that.
It might be.
I think that would be actually a pretty cool, nice little crossover, a nice little nod to the originators of the series. But I do agree that there may be something that's coming,
and I
later.
think there's going to be something like Halo themed inside, like armor that's going to be inside of Destiny for, I wouldn't be surprised if you get Master Chief armor inside there.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. His other question was, it appears millions are playing Halo beta. What we are hearing are rightful complaints about broken progression and great gameplay. What are we not here? What we are not hearing is any negative talk about its graphics. Beta looks very good to phenomenal from map to map to me, with great performance on my Series X. If campaign looks like this, I will be thrilled. I know YouTube is funny, but this game just looks much better when you're playing. Interested to hear your comments on beta performance and graphics as this near final code. Uh,
Oh,
uh, First off, Buck, thank you for those questions. I appreciate
oh yeah, I
you
really
coming through,
appreciate those
and
questions.
I'm glad you showed up in the chat because I almost forgot to discuss it. Now, in regards to your questions, I think multiplayer is very different than a campaign in terms of visuals. Like, I absolutely would play the Halo campaign, Halo Infinite campaign, on my 4K monitor at 60 frames per second on my ultra settings
Yeah.
on my 3070. But I would not play multiplayer like that because frames are more important in competitive multiplayer than a campaign where I'm going up against, and I'm probably gonna play it in heroic first and then legendary again secondly, but against you know the Covenant and or I'm sorry, not the Covenant, the Banished. So it's different. I want to see those visuals pop. I want ray tracing for campaign, and from what I've seen, I have an idea. This is my idea. I feel that the build for multiplayer is different than the build for the campaign. Now, maybe Forte might disagree with me, but visually, uh, I think Halo Infinite's multiplayer looks great visually. And even though I play it at ultra settings at times, I wouldn't mind dropping it down to high. And here's why. Um, the visuals don't matter as much as they do in multiplayer. I need to make sure my frames are good so that I'm not losing frames or having frame skips or having stuttering going on while I'm playing the game, and it's affecting my gameplay and my ability to win. And so there's a different focus there. But when it comes to the campaign, in multiplayer, there are no cutscenes, amazing looking cutscenes. I want that kind of stuff. And so it's a different focus of what's important. That said, the performance is on PC has been somewhat shaky, but I think on consoles, everyone's been very happy. So I think overall the multiplayer performance has been good. And I we talked about the broken progression stuff earlier in the show. So later on, definitely scrub back to us talking about it was our second topic and listen to our thoughts there because we definitely gushed over how much we're playing the game and loving it. But I also appreciate you with the $20 super chat. Appreciate that, bro. Forte, go ahead, man.
No, listen, I think in general, most people probably don't know this, but because if you just play multiplayer games, you really don't pay the single player. You probably never noticed it, but multiplayer, for the most part, never looks as good as the single player because you have more things happening in a multiplayer game. That's what makes it kind of encouraging for me. That for what we see from the multiplayer means the single player is gonna. If you think this looks good, the single player is probably gonna look phenomenal to you. Now, who knows? Things can change and that rule can be broken probably, but for the most part, if a multiplayer looks that good, you can only imagine what the single player is going to look like because you don't have as many multiplayer assets that you have to draw. The scope of the game, even though in Halo scope of the game is pretty much bigger because of the way that the map is laid out and it being semi-open
I
world.
mean, but from what we saw, what we've seen so far, visually, it hasn't looked that great when he finally
You can also
re-revealed it.
say, but the multiplayer didn't look that great either until we got a chance to see it. Like when you look at it,
To play
like
it.
if you look at if you look at if you just look at the graphics of the multiplayer, when you see it, it looks good, but it doesn't look like what we actually are looking at now looks way better than what we saw that they were showing off. It even looks better to me than the technical betas looked.
You mean are you talking about what in the multiplayer that we're playing
Yes,
right
the
now?
multiplayer. Yeah, the
That's true.
multiplayer. I
That's
think
true.
the
But
yeah, the
this kind of
multiplayer
goes
now
back to
looks
what
better
I'm
than what we
saying.
played
But
before.
this kind of goes back to what I'm saying. Like I feel like they're almost like maybe two different builds are. I mean, it's two completely different modes.
Well, do you think that the
it's
thing is, do
just
you think the multiplayer is going to be built on the single player? Because the only way the single player doesn't look better than the multiplayer is if they're doing exactly what you're saying, building basically a completely different game,
we're not
completely
completely like
separate.
I don't want to go that far. It's not
Well, I'm
completely
talking about
different.
visually wise,
Yeah,
because
but
the only way the visuals are going to look
I'm
worse.
still skeptical on the visual side of things, and which is like it's disappointing, but I think that the engine just really isn't quite where it needs to be visually for
But
it
if you
to
like this
be a
though,
visual masterpiece, huh?
but but you like this the way this looks, it is in the same engine.
But yeah, but it looks good for multiplayer. Like
That's
it's
what I'm
not.
saying. For multiplayer, it looks good.
But that's because I my focus is different for multiplayer. Like I don't look. I could drop the settings down to medium or low.
Okay,
But
so
it's just as long as I get my frames, I'm
okay,
good.
so the question I'm going to ask you. Okay, then I'll ask you a more direct question to it. Then the multiplayer looks good for multiplayer, but if the single player looks a smidgen better than what it looks like right now in multiplayer, that would be a disappointment for you.
Yeah, that'd be because it's not a drastic improvement. And
Okay.
yeah, and I have to always have to go back to the fact that when they first revealed Halo Infinite, they tried to show it off as a visual thing, and people tried to pretend like that didn't happen.
No,
But the
I
very
agree.
first time they showed it, they did a tech showcase of the slip space engine, which wasn't even really running like the slip space engine. Really, it wasn't even done by 343 apparently. Then the second trailer that first showed the pilot, the soldier finding
Yeah.
Master Chief, also wasn't running the way running the slip space engine. It wasn't running it the way it was. They had none of the features that were being displayed in those trailers in the actual engine at that time. So like I can't stand when that's done because it makes it difficult for a developer to live up to an expectation that they didn't quite make,
Right.
and then two, it gives a false impression to the actual players that are interested in the game, and so that kind of put them behind the eight ball. And so now they have to actually try to live up to that expectation. And whether they do or not, whether they try to like distance themselves away from that or not, or other people try to distance them away from that, doesn't change the fact that they set that expectation years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I hope that answered all of Buck's questions. I do appreciate him once again for asking that in the previous video. Let's speed this up, man, because we still got one topic. So games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. I have not played any of these. I know that you love Boyfriend Dungeon, and you 100% at that one. But for me, I've only played Life is Strange True Colors, and that's the only one I chose because it's the only one I played. What about you, man?
No comment.
You chose Boyfriend Dungeon. Moving on. Best performance awarded to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and/or performance capture. And I think this is always really competitive every year. We got Erica Mori as Alex Chen in Life is Strange True Colors. We got Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo in Far Cry 6. You got Jason Kelly as Colt Vaughn in Deathloop. Maggie Robertson as Lady Dimitrescu. Dimitrescu, whatever, man. Like Resident Evil Village. And oh man, I'm about to butcher this thing. Okay. Azuyama Akaga as Juliana Blake in Deathloop.
Just say Juliana, whoever played Juliana Blake.
Yeah, look, no, I was gonna attempt it, like I don't want to.
She looked like somebody off a Top Model without wear hair like that.
She look all right. Let me so I will say you see here, I voted for Jason Kelly. I thought he was really good. I thought he delivered his lines well. He was hilarious, even though I didn't really care for Deathloop like that anyway. But I thought that regardless of the gameplay, he did his job. So I chose him. It was kind of a toss up between him and Giancarlo, but I chose him. What is your thought, man?
I think young lady that played Julia Blake or Jason Kelly will probably take this one because I think they both had strong, compelling appearances in Deathloop. Say what you want to say about the story of the game itself, but I think the actual performances were actually really good for the moments, the little bit that I played of it. Espiano, I think, is an easy one, but from the most part, he wasn't in the game enough to, I feel like, to really garner a huge impact in your. You didn't play Far Cry 6, did you?
No, I talked about this earlier. I played it. I played it for like 3 or 4 hours, and then I dropped it. Yeah.
You really don't see him that much except for cutscenes and stuff. So in the parts, the parts of the game, he's very impactful. In the parts he's in, I just don't think he's in the game enough. And I didn't play Life is Strange, so I couldn't tell you. But from
she did a good job. Erica Mori did a good job. Like everyone up here. This is why I said this is always stiff competition every year, because everyone here is deserving. And for once, there isn't the typical Nolan Norths and Troy Bakers and what's the other two women that are always in everything.
What's her name that plays Tiny Tina? Forget her name.
Ashley Birch, and this is the one that played the girl from Gears 5, the new Gears games. What is her name? Laura
Bailey.
There we go. Yeah, finally the typical people who are in every single game aren't here, so I appreciate that. But watch.
I think it's between Jason and young lady that plays Julia Blake.
Yeah, that's what Rodimus said. But watch Maggie win, and it's going to be only because people want to be sat on by this big woman. That's all. Yeah, it ain't got nothing to do with her voice acting. It's,
just everything she want. Man, that woman, that was a tall woman.
Best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. I chose Returnal because I thought the ambiance of the sound and what was going on around me, I thought that was really set the mood, and that was really good. I can't speak on Resident Evil Village because I didn't play it. I played these three; they were good. I just thought Returnal, like its audio design fit the game and the setting better than everything else. What about you?
Returnal, I think the ambiance really stands out in the game a lot. Forza is right there because it takes a lot to get those cars to sound the way that they sound, and just the environments in general. Like when you do something in Forza, it really makes you feel like you're there in the car. So I do think that the sound design kind of gets overlooked because it's a racer and people don't really know that. People always think that cars all sound the same, where every car sounds different. Something's different about it, and I think they go above and beyond to make that experience seem one-to-one for a lot of people. But I couldn't pick it over Returnal because I think Returnal does a little bit more when it comes to just, I mean, they got to create their own sound designs. And I think whenever you have a template where you have to create something versus basically just make something sound one-to-one I mean, not saying that one isn't harder than the other, you know, because you do got to put the work in, and there's a lot of different vehicles and cars that they have in the game that they got to make sound like that. But I always will go with, you know, creating something from scratch and doing it on your own than, you know, making something sound one-to-one to something that's already out in the world. So Returnal would get it just because of that.
Cool. Next is best score in music, and once again, why the hell is Cyberpunk 2077 here?
Cyberpunk got some good music, bro.
No, it really it's not that great. No, it's not.
Let me tell you this, we can't. Okay, this is the only time you're gonna hear me defend Cyberpunk a little bit. Listen, the only time you're gonna hear it, because Cyberpunk shouldn't be in the Game Awards at all. But if I had to defend it, I will say this. people are upset because Cyberpunk is being nominated for all of these different awards because of the situation the game was put into.
I understand that.
Not put into by the developers that worked super hard to get this game out there, but because of
my
decisions.
opinion on this is completely separate from that. It has nothing to do with how poorly the game launched in the state that it still is.
You saying it shouldn't even be in a category
for best score in music? Because it's not the music really. I didn't really think the music was that good.
But what about okay, going back to RPG where you said it shouldn't be in the best RPG because it is actually a really good RPG.
It's a decent RPG.
But I beat it. But you saying it shouldn't even be in the category because of that.
Yeah, it's just a decent RPG.
Slow-mo.
It's just a decent RPG.
Slow-mo, but
the music ain't that good.
But Slow-mo, your argument earlier was due to the fact that everything that the game went through. How could this game be even a part of Game of the Year?
Well,
so you can't say that.
I said one. I didn't like the fact that it is here, but that is separate from the fact that the categories he got nominated for, it shouldn't even be in those categories.
Why not?
Because they wasn't. I just said it. It's just that those areas aren't that great. It's not a great RPG. The music isn't great.
You name another game that was good enough to be in that category that wasn't there. I'm not saying you're wrong. I hear a lot of people, like I was listening to some people talk about this earlier, like yesterday and some today, and they would just say this blanket statement about it shouldn't be in there. I can name 5 or 6 other games that should be a part of the Game of the Year. And that's fair, but none of them name anything. They just say it shouldn't be, and they never name games that should be the replacement for that game. I could probably think about 2 or 3 games that could be a replacement for the game, but nobody else is doing that. So I'm going to ask you, what one game should replace it?
What one game?
One game for score and one game for best RPG.
Okay, for RPG, I will put Persona 5 Strikers in there or Bravely Default 2.
Okay.
That I think both of those
I can see Bravely Default 2. I can easily see that
are
one.
likely better. Persona 5 Strikers I played personally, and I would definitely play that 5 times over Cyberpunk. Bravely Default 2, I ain't got a Switch. So if I had a Switch, I would have played it. But everyone that played it thought it was good. As far as best score and music goes, let me tell you, sir, about how I've been campaigning for Aerial Knights Never Yield.
Okay.
Ever since I played that game. Shout out to Aerial Knight. Very good indie game. But the music in that game, I think it should be best score in music. It should win it. Like it was that good. It's different as well as done extremely well. And the entire soundtrack I have on my Google Music, and I listen to it. I actually played like one of my streams in the past, not last stream, but the stream before that, when I was actually going through this on stream and talking about all the whole snub talk. And I had the music playing in the background the entire time because I wanted people to hear it because the music is that good. And the fact that they had this trash Cyberpunk soundtrack up here.
Listen.
Trash soundtrack. The only good music in it is the parts where they have like barely good. It's the parts where Johnny Silverhand's band is playing. That's literally that's like 15 minutes of the entire game that you actually get any of that. It's ridiculous that it's up here. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree. And shout out to Rod if he said it's Forte arguing just to argue. No,
pretty much.
Seriously. I just don't listen. You, my friend, and I don't want you to fall victim like the rest of these people fall victim. Like you gave some compelling reasons because the first thing you said is, why is this in there? I don't want to hear why it's in there. I want you to tell me what you think's supposed to be there instead of that. And I agree with you. I didn't play what was the name of the second game? You been talking about. I didn't.
Aerial Knights Never Yield.
Yeah, I didn't play that game, but I definitely agree with your RPG. I definitely agree with RPG. I agree 100% with that. There's a whole bunch of games that can replace it.
Listen to Aerial Knights Never Yield. You have Spotify or whatever?
I do.
Put in Aerial Knights Never Yield. Thank me later. The entire
Okay.
soundtrack, fire. The entire thing. And the fact
I
that
appreciate
it's
you for
different
just naming
than
something though.
it's different than all the games. I don't know. Artful Escape. Some people really like that one. It's based around music, so I understand why that's in there. Deathloop. Deathloop has a theme. It's around the setting, which makes sense. I'm fine with that. We know why Guardians is here. You know why I chose it, because it's got great 80s song hits, and
it's literally real songs.
like real songs, and you end up singing them as you're playing. It's
Yep.
perfect for the game, and it fits the Guardians perfectly. Nier Replicant, I don't know. I haven't played Nier, but
Nier really good soundtrack.
okay, I might have to check that out as well. But Cyberpunk doesn't deserve to be here. Matter of fact, Scarlet Nexus has a better soundtrack than Cyberpunk.
I agree. Scarlet Nexus does have a better soundtrack than Cyberpunk.
They literally just tried to force it into the show somehow. I don't know whether there was something they got going on with CD Projekt.
Because you know what? If the game didn't get review bombed and trashed all over the place, it would have been a Game of the Year conversation.
He didn't deserve that either. All right, moving on. I'm sorry. Which of these would you choose?
No, I agree, Guardians, because you can
cool.
literally play the game and sing every song in there you pretty much know.
Right. I'm actually replaying it again on hard, the hardest difficulty. Best art direction. This is hard. This is one of the harder categories. For outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation, we have The Artful Escape, Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Like, all of these are deserving. Deathloop's art direction is very unique to the game. I thought it suited it well. I know a lot of people give Psychonauts 2 his visuals hell, but it has a very distinct art direction. The lead art director is Lisette Montgomery, is a black woman. Shout out to her. And I thought she did a good job in bringing a uniqueness to that. And Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and Kena look like Pixar movies. But visuals, I'll base it off of which game, because I played 4 of the 5 here. Which game did I do the most screenshots for? And it was Kena. Every 5 seconds, I was doing the screenshot in photo mode, doing stuff. Very close with Ratchet, because Ratchet Ratchet
has a really good photo mode.
Very oh man, that photo mode is amazing.
It's freaking incredible.
Adding the ray tracing, chef's kiss, right? But Kena, without all the bells and whistles, that's an animation studio, man. That's what they do. And so I actually went through my folder of photos, because I play both, and I went through all the screenshots I took in Ratchet, and I went through all the ones in Kena, and Kena had like 20 more. That's how I made my choice. What about you?
So because I didn't play Kena, I played Ratchet. Oh man, you're not gonna like that I'm gonna say this, but I picked Ratchet mostly due to the fact that it has to win. There's no way, because Ratchet ain't winning Game of the Year. And have you noticed up until this point that we haven't picked Ratchet for anything?
I mean, that's kind of part of the course with Insomniac games. Like, they're well recognized for like being the most efficient and one of the more high quality studios out there. But when it comes to these game awards, they don't win a lot of stuff. And that's saying that what we choosing is what
nothing yet.
I almost guarantee that something that you and I chose is not going to go that way, and they're going to win something.
No, they're going to win this one.
You think they're going to win? Yeah, look, if it beats Kena Bridge of Spirits, I wouldn't even be mad about it. Cause like I said, I was in photo mode consistently with both of those games. There's a large gap in between the art direction and the design and animation. The animation between those two games and the rest of these games. It's a gulf. It's a Grand Canyon sized gulf between those two. So either one of them winning is fine. Yeah,
so between these two, I pick Ratchet just because it has to win something. Literally. Kena, look, man, it is a Pixar. I mean, it's like real life Pixar. And Ratchet has always been real like Pixar, but at 4K, 60 frames per second now. What are you about to say?
Rodiman said art direction is about uniqueness, and I'm gonna say, look at the description of Rodimus for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. You can't just focus in on one part of what the full description is and not everything. There is uniqueness in the way that Kana looks, and the way that the characters in Ratchet and Clank look. All of these games up here have uniqueness. That's the reason why they're even nominated in the category. It's the animation side of things that separates Kana and Rift Apart from everyone else.
But the other thing is, how much is Flash going to sway voters in this discussion? Because like you said, all of these, like Ratchet and Clank and Kana are above all when it comes to the art direction. Like if you want to take just visual art direction, is above all of it. Even people will argue Psychonauts is a very, very good art, very, very looking game, and it is. But it depends on the person that's voting. If they're all about that crispy textures and everything just standing out, you can't get above a Pixar movie. Pixar movies is a reason that they do well. It's a reason we know WALL-E and all these other Pixar movies and movies like Disney's Up.
And not all Pixar movies look the same.
They don't all look the same.
They have different art directions in their movies too, but what is always consistent with them is the level of quality is second to none. So, I don't want to stay too far on this because it's already so like 12:20. We need to.
Yeah, so I'll say the only thing I would say last about this is it really, like I said, it comes down to the voters' discretion. I would pick Ratchet because I like Flash, because that's the thing that Ratchet and Clank brings. It brings more Flash, because going through rifts, going from dimension to dimension, different color palettes for everything, where Kana is more grounded, but it looks phenomenal because it's like settings that you are accustomed to. It looks more realistic because of the area that is pertaining itself in. And if that's the type of like style you like, that's what people are going to go for. But most people go for the Flash, and if they go for the Flash, they're going to go with Ratchet.
Right.
They're going with Ratchet. Yep.
Okay, so best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in games. We got Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange: True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Psychonauts 2. Now, I have actually played, this is the one category where I've played every single one of these games. And when it came to story, best narrative, I chose Guardians without a moment's hesitation. And that's no shade towards the rest of these games. They have really good stories. Except for Deathloop, I didn't get far enough in Deathloop to really see how that story goes. But I did kind of see that it wasn't like a one-note thing. It definitely had some complexity to it. It wasn't just a simple story. It's not a dash of story like we say with Nintendo games. But I didn't get played far enough for me to really have that kind of feeling for it. Life is Strange: True Colors has a good story, but it's actually probably the best story from those kind of games, and I'm laughing because Deck 9 did it instead of Don't Nod, because I think Don't Nod sucks at storytelling. But it's although it's good, it's not better than Psychonauts 2, It Takes Two, or Guardians. It Takes Two has a great story. Psychonauts 2 has a really good story. But Guardians, I mean, Eidos Montreal nailed those characters, that universe, that story. It's a better story than the Guardians movies in the MCU. So that's my choice. By like not even a question, that's my choice. What about you?
I played halfway through, not halfway, probably a quarter way through Marvel, played a little bit of Deathloop. We already know the situation with me and you, it Takes Two, and Psychonauts I haven't started yet. And the little bit that I played of Guardians, I was enthralled from the moment I started playing it. Like, it starts off slow. Like, matter of fact, all of these games kind of start out the same, like kind of theory building and stuff. But I think the fact that we knew who the Guardians were, you already had an expectation of what it was going to be. From the moment you wake up on a couch and Drax is standing over you talking to you,
yeah,
I instantly was like, "Yo, okay, I'm good," because this sounds familiar. And they did a really good job with the voice acting, a really good job with the character narrations and stuff like that. So it being something that you're familiar with, I think is the reason I went with that one, because I did vote for that one, because I think it's just more indicative to what the movies were, but done better.
Cool. All right, let's we got 12 minutes before we hit the 3-hour mark. Let's move this along.
Yeah, you good.
Best game direction awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. And I felt like this is another one that's very difficult, because all these games, yes, all these games, I will say this, because Ratchet and Clank has the Rift design that's different. Psychonauts 2 had the game design of like the going into people's brains and the boss battles and the puzzle solving that was really good. Returnal has its loop. It's of dying and returning, starting the loop over again. Deathloop has actually the same exact design, even though it's similar. They're implemented differently, but
you don't start the whole thing over though.
Yes, you do in Deathloop.
Oh no! I was thinking about. Yeah, no, you're right. You're
right.
I was thinking something else.
But It Takes Two is it's like that. It's that cooperative like design, and in addition to just like how the levels were designed and how it's just like Hazelight is, I think, is a studio that's on the come up, and I can't wait to see their next game, because it seems to be really interesting. But I just thought that one spoke to me, and I really enjoy its design far more than the not far more, but definitely more than the other games. What about you?
So, I didn't even think about It Takes Two when I looked at this, because I was kind of thinking a little analytically about it, like what would win it versus what I thought, because like I said, I didn't finish any of them, so it was more of a like, what do I think it's going to win? And my thoughts came down to two games, Deathloop and Psychonauts, because the next category is Game of the Year. Whichever one doesn't win this one is going to win that one.
You know what?
Whichever one doesn't win this is going to win that one.
What's the one game in this category that isn't even nominated for the other category?
Returnal.
Yeah, so Returnal could win this. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is whatever doesn't win. Yeah, because if Deathloop wins this game, this best game direction, Psychonauts is going to win Game of the Year. If Psychonauts wins it, Deathloop's going to win it. If Returnal wins it for some reason, then it's up in the air. I don't think
you think this is Returnal, because we about to just go into Game of the Year.
I think it's Returnal. Okay. I think it's truly Returnal, because Returnal doesn't have a dog to fight in the next round.
Right. Now look, I placed my vote here, but this isn't who I think is going to win Game of the Year. I'll explain that in a second. But we got Game of the Year, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. I chose this because out of all the games here, this is the game that I enjoyed the most. That's why I chose it. Resident Evil Village is going to win, though.
Ooh, it could.
Here's why. Okay, first of all, let me go into my format of how they do Game of the Year. You have your token indie. Hello, It Takes Two. This is you. You have no chance of winning this. You should just be happy you got nominated. This is your Game of the Year award, that you got nominated for Game of the Year. That's it. Yep. You are just here to make us look like we are unique and we aren't shills, or we don't basically just make this a popularity contest. Thank you for being here to make us look legitimate. That's what It Takes Two is here. Metroid Dread is here because they always got to have a Nintendo game. There's no other reason. There's no other reason. Ratchet and
As
Clank.
much as I want to fight you on that, I can't fight you on it. I can't fight you on it.
And likewise, Ratchet and Clank is here because they gotta have a PlayStation exclusive game. If it wasn't gonna be this, it was gonna be Returnal. Wouldn't be both of them. One or the other. That's why Ratchet and Clank is here. Now, like I said, I chose Ratchet and Clank because I enjoyed it more than I did. Never play Resident Evil. The only one here that I haven't, well, I haven't played this one, and I haven't played Metroid Dread. But out of the 4 games that I played, I enjoyed Ratchet and Clank the most. That's why I chose my personal game out of this group. My personal game of the year out of this group is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. My personal game of the year, if I had to choose a game, is Hades. But that's not going to be up here because Hades came out last year. Now, the reason why I'm saying Resident Evil Village is going to win, it's a third-party developer. There is no dog in this fight. There's no allegiance. Every time Capcom drops a AAA game, it ends up in Game of the Year. Resident Evil 2, well, except for Resident Evil 3 remake, but Resident Evil 2 remake got a nod too. And that was the first remake that got a nod for Game of the Year. And people was like, some people don't like that. Regardless. Psychonauts 2 is not going to win. Psychonauts 2 is not going to win because Double Fine, although Double Fine is beloved as a studio, and although this game is highly regarded by critics, Double Fine is not a big enough studio name. They don't have the cachet of the kind of come up that From Software did for Sekiro to win. And so Deathloop, honestly, the only reason I think there's 6 games up here is that because people love Arcane and Deathloop for some reason. And that's why they had to add a 6th one up here. But you know what's going to win? The safe bet. Resident Evil Village is going to win. The vast majority of the gaming community, as well as the gaming media community, enjoyed Resident Evil. They enjoyed the characters. They enjoyed the plot twist with the stories and with Chris. They enjoyed everything. I didn't see barely anybody complain about this game. But all these games, except for It Takes Two. But as I said, this one, you're not even really here. But all these other games have had controversies. There have been things that people complained about. People complained about the art direction in Psychonauts 2. People complained about Rivet and Ratchet not being any different. People complained about Metroid being $60. And people complained about Deathloop being boring. So Resident Evil Village is going to win. Case closed. Thank you. Now you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong.
No, I can't disagree with you on this. I make it quick. Of all these games up here, Resident Evil was the one that pretty much everybody universally did not have any type of problem with. The plot twist in the middle of the game, if you haven't played it, pretty crazy. A lot of people didn't see it coming, and I think that kind of bodes well for the game. Ratchet and Clank is just a Ratchet and Clank game, just looks a lot better and loads real fast because of the SSD. Nothing takes away from it, but it's a Ratchet and Clank game. It doesn't do anything monumentally different than any other game before it. Psychonauts, I think a lot of people clamor for the fact that Xbox Game Studios helped fund this game, put boss battles in there, stuff that wasn't going to be available in the game, so they made it a better overall game, which is the reason a lot of people love this game as much as they do. I think that is the reason it's sitting in this category, and it has a really good chance of winning. Metroid, okay, Metroid's here just because, like you said, Nintendo, they have to have a Nintendo game.
They have to have a Nintendo game up here every year. They have to. So much so that they went back into like the year before and did almost a technicality to get Smash Bros in there on the super dry year for Nintendo because they gotta have a Nintendo first party game in there.
Yep, and I am a little upset that Death's Door did not make this list, but It Takes Two, I wasn't even thinking about It Takes Two because it came out so early in the year, which is another reason why I'm glad that there's people out here to actually look out for all of these games throughout the whole year, because It Takes Two definitely deserves to be in this category. I probably would have picked Death's Door, but Takes Two, just be happy you're here. And Deathloop is where the conversation for Game of the Year kind of started for a lot of people. Like a lot of people, like mostly not developers, but publishers and stuff like that when it came to the media, were really, really love Deathloop. But with all that being said, Deathloop was boring in some places. A lot of people didn't finish it. And Resident Evil stood out to more people. And I can easily say myself, I didn't play Resident Evil myself. I watched my daughter play it because I don't play it. I watched my daughter play it, and watching her play the game, and I seen every little thing in the game.
Look, you don't have to play it.
Pretty good.
You don't really have to play it to kind of recognize if your logic behind why you're choosing it is it has nothing to do with you saying it's a quality game or not, but based upon like narratives and how they choose things. Then,
it's pretty great.
Yeah, like look, I'm not a Resident Evil fan, so I don't even care about the game. I don't care about Resident Evil, period. But I recognize that a lot of people love the game, and you can recognize that people love a game even if you don't even particularly care for it. And I just kind of feel like it's a safe bet compared to the rest of these. And Rodimus brought up last year that I said I chose Ghost of Tsushima, which also was a safe bet, and that The Last of Us Part 2 was pretty polarizing. What I did not take into account is the developer worshiper effect, and that's always a trump card in things. Why was Fallout 4 nominated that year it came out? Because of Bethesda and Bethesda's worship. Why was Overwatch the Overwatch win game of the year that year? Because Blizzard at that time and their developer worship, and Naughty Dog as well as Rockstar and at one point CD Projekt Red before they screwed themselves were all developers that were worshipped by the game media and the game industry. And I completely discounted that. I didn't think about that, and that's why The Last of Us Part 2 still won, regardless of how polarizing the story was for some people.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't see that effect happening this year. There is no polarizing game. There's no studio that can overcome that and just win because it's that studio. You know,
I do think Rodimus is right though. A lot of journalists do love Tim Schafer, and I think that has a lot. I would not be surprised if Psychonauts did win this though, because it did have the biggest transformation of all of these games in, the development of it, where it was one thing and it became something else. And normally people wouldn't know that, but since this game was kickstarted, all the information is out there, knowing that this game was supposed to be one thing and ended up being something else because of what Xbox did with it. And the game became a better game because of it. I do think that is going to weigh, even though it probably shouldn't, it is going to weigh a little bit in a lot of the voters' minds when it comes to that. And I know if Xbox people have anything to say with it, that's going to be the game that's going to win it.
Now, I just pulled up another game that has been the subject of plenty of topics recently that wasn't on that list. Do you know what game that is, Forte?
Yes, Forza, which should have been on that list because it's a sports game, and they don't consider sports games game of the year material.
And they absolutely don't. I do. We are I think probably in full agreement about that. That I think all games, regardless of genre, should be eligible for game of the year. Yep. And in some real game, some award shows, that is exactly the case. Some award shows go by strictly like the best reviews. Some go by they have a whole bunch of nominations for the game of the year category, and it's all games that were the best in all the genres, and they just choose one that's the best, or whatever. They all have their different criteria. But Jeff Keighley's game of the award show, it's a look. I shout out to Game Logic that was on Brap last night with us, and Game Logic says something that's very true.
Good show, by the way.
It was an excellent show, and he said that the Video Game Award show, Jeff Keighley's award show, is not about. It's not the Academy. It's not the Oscars. It's not the Emmys. It's not about really, like, even those are corrupt anyway, because they're not really about choosing was really the best in whatever category they get chosen. Like, the movie of the year isn't chosen because it's really the movie of the year. The majority of the movies that they have in that category, you've never even seen or heard of, but people lobby for that. And so even they're corrupt. But I'm not saying Jeff Keighley's corrupt, but what I'm saying that this is a marketing event. Why do people should turn into the Video Game Awards? Do they really care about Game of the Year? No, they care about what's going to be revealed. Think about the stuff that's been revealed at the Game Awards show. Hellblade 2, The Outer Worlds, Xbox Series X, in addition to numerous other games that are not just shown again, absolutely revealed for the first time at that show. It's a marketing event. And it's the last big marketing event of the year. And so that's what it's for. It's for popularity. All the games that get nominated for Game of the Year, every single one of them, are just because they got nominated, they get boost in sales. Just because they got nominated. And so what you have to take into all these things into account, Forza doesn't win because there's nothing sexy about a racer. There isn't. It's like, why do they package it with sports games? Because they don't care. They don't care about racers. And the people who nominate these games don't care about racers either. They don't care that 10 million people played it. So what? Even more people play Call of Duty. Did that get nominated? Nope. They don't care that it was one of the highest rated games on Metacritic this year. And so what? Disco Elysium got 97 on Metacritic the year it came out. Did they get nominated for Game of the Year? Nope. They don't care about any of that. They care about narratives. They care about getting the games that make sure that the platforms that they care about get their best games out there.
Yep.
And just keep it a buck. Not only is this a racing game, this is also a racing game that's in the ecosystem of a platform that they don't care about.
Mm. That's true.
So that's a double negative. It's not winning. Unfortunately, it's not going to get nominated. It never will. If this game hitting another one out the park and Playground, awesome job with it. I really enjoy. I'm actually enjoying this one more than I enjoyed Forza Horizon 4. But this game, another 92 rated game, still can't get nominated. You never will. At least not for that show. And I'm not saying it to piss anybody off, and I'm not saying it because I believe in it. I'm just telling you what it is.
Part of me wish we knew when did they actually do the nominations for Game of the Year. Like, they gave out the criterias of why, how it's picked, who the committee and everything, but we didn't get when they did it. Because if we would have had some insight to, like, say they did this back in the end of October, mm-hmm. Then I could understand why Forza wasn't in there, because Forza wasn't out. Forza did just release just over a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So,
and that's partially part of, although I don't think it ever would have had any chance of getting nominated, that some people who do have a hand in this, who do have voting rights in this, said that the outlets that have those choices barely had enough time with Forza Horizon 5 before they had to turn their ballots in, and some of them did not realize that they could modify their ballots up to a certain point in time. I think it was the 17th that they could modify.
Okay, so the game was out before the nominations were in.
Yes, but I can't speak on who. But I've seen things,
I know what you mean,
that where people talked about, the people like our media group. I'm trying my best to say this without revealing anything.
No.
Our media group only got 5 to 6 hours with the game before we had to turn in our ballot. So it's not. It's if it was a different game in a different genre, it probably would have had a hard time due to the time that it came out. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway. It could have came out in October or September.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't going to win because it's a racer.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I agree 100%. I just think that the game, I'm just happy that the game is doing well, and people are enjoying playing it. I just also think it's just a shame that we still have a divide when it comes to games being games instead of games being the games of a subsection of a game that we don't consider to be the type of game that we can have in our game of the year discussion. So
yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's the unfortunate part.
I would love for maybe this is and look, people have been talking, and I don't know how I got tagged in this. Someone tagged me in a tweet that said we need to have a community-based award show, and they tagged me as well as a lot of other prestigious, well-known people in the gaming community as like judges or people to like nominate games to be voted on by the rest of the community. And I thought, like, that's a great idea. I don't know about myself. They found me very impartial, as I am. Let me stop. But no, I think when people have ideas about that, if you feel like that, this all this pageantry and all of this popularity contest isn't what you want to see from the most popular video game award show around. You want to see an award show that's just about the games. One, there's a ton of award shows that do that. So maybe you should start focusing on stuff like the DICE Awards or whatever other award shows that actually do care about what are the best games out, what are the most deserving games, and actually watch them and put focus on them and get them more popular, so that not everyone's just looking at the Video Game Awards by Jeff Keighley and being upset that their favorite game didn't get in, or the one they were rooting for didn't get in. And look, I've been there, because I thought in 2019, I thought that Fire Emblem Three Houses deserved to be in. And that was my personal game of the year that year. It didn't even get nominated. And I took personal satisfaction that when they did their voting thing, where the community gets to vote on what they thought should have been added to the game of the year, that Fire Emblem Three Houses won the landslide. And I felt good about that. But that's it. It ain't win, because it's a strategy RPG. Never going to get nominated. So it is what it is.
I see a couple people, they talk about, like Alvin, he's talking about RE8 couldn't even get a nom in any other major category, but sit in the game of year table like I belong here. And then Erodimus says, RE8, how many cats was it in and you wanted to win game of the year? I'm going to tell you, this reminds me, and the only reason I agree with Slow-Mo to an extent on that, go back to 2018 when God of War and Red Dead Redemption were going head to head with each other, and everybody just knew that Red Dead Redemption was going to win, but the narrative was Red Dead Redemption won like any category outside of Game of the Year that Red Dead was in, it won. Mm-hmm. And when it came to Game of the Year, the game that won everything lost to the game that
I was like, God of War is too good to go out of here with zero. So as Red Dead 2 kept winning every category, because they were up for each other's category and everything. And I was like, nah, God of War got this. As it was getting closer, I was like, God of War has lost everything. And Red Dead has like 6 wins already. They're not getting Game of the Year. And look, and predictably, Jeff Keighley's award show did exactly what I said it was going to do.
Yep.
Now, Rodimus is saying Resident Evil Village isn't nominated for anything. Well, it's a weird year, man. And it's a weird year. And there's a lot of other games that should have got nominations in categories that they didn't get nominations in. And they had to make sure that Cyberpunk got in. So look, I think it's the safe bet. I think it's going to win. We'll see what happens. But when it comes to Forza Horizon 5, you just gotta face facts with this award show. You're not going to get, certain categories will never get chosen. And unfortunately, and racing is it. Now the good thing is that for you Xbox guys is that the future is very bright. You're getting more and more games. Xbox first party games this year had the highest rated games in Metacritic, even though, like, I don't know why everyone cares so much about Metacritic, but since it's the criteria you guys always use for everything, it is what it is. But they got the really high rated games. They got some good stuff on the horizon. You know, the future is bright. Maybe Fable or Hellblade 2 or Starfield. I don't know. You know, we'll have a shot at it. And and those games are in genres that we have seen get nominated. But for Forza, it ain't happening. It's just not. But I think that is about it. We could wrap this up, man.
We definitely love you guys. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and we both got work in the morning. We love you guys, man. But for real, thanks for sticking through. This is a great show, Slow-Mo. This is really good. Game of the year. I knew the game of the year and the awards by themselves was going to take a lot of time, but yeah, you did a good job breaking it all down, man. And I think we killed it.
Oh, thank you. I agree, man. It was a great show, great chat as always. But you guys really outdid yourselves today. Excellent chat. I know some of you guys probably had to check out. We had I think close to 50 people here at one point. And you know, the fact that it's almost 1 in the morning and we still got 33 people here. Like, yeah, I have no idea how overwhelming that is for me. I appreciate all of you guys here. We gonna get out of here though. We gonna let you guys go because I know you guys got your days. You guys got to either play
Halo or go to work in the morning.
Right, and some of us
one of the two things.
Some of us might do both. Anyway,
I'm probably about to jump on Halo right now.
Yeah. So all right. So look, let's get on out of here. Forte, let everyone know where they can find you, bro.
Yo, Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Check out DPS on my channel next week. And definitely hit me up if you guys want to play some Halo or whatever, man. I think your boy is starting to sweat out the Destiny juice out of his body and stuff because, you know, he ain't played it in a week. It's basically Battlefield and Halo going forward for a while. So once again, appreciate all you guys that came through. And you guys make sure you... check us out online and or on Twitter. Appreciate you guys.
And I appreciate all you guys for coming through. Thank you for being here. I'm still working on videos. I haven't forgotten about that. And I will be on Twitch tomorrow. Usual lunchtime with Slow-Mo. So anywhere between 11 to 1 p.m. Expect me to go live, probably with some more Halo Infinite. And check out Scumcast.
You might hit 40,000 points tomorrow. Hurry up and go live.
Whatever, you ain't hitting that much. Watch Scumcast. You'll find us in the podcasting realm next on this Saturday at likely 7 p.m. Eastern time on the Ash and Lucas channel. And you'll find us back on DPS next week. On Gaming Forte's channel, more regular time at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Next week is Tuesday.
Oh, my bad. You're right. Thanksgiving is Thursday. So, all right, I'm glad you said that. DPS will be on Tuesday next week because we can't do Thursday because we're going to be with family. So if you can make Tuesday, awesome. If you can't, I completely understand. But if we don't see you, happy Thanksgiving and take care, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you again.
All right, peace. We're out.